Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming. And guys, welcome to Monday. It's a brand new week. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend filled with fun and enjoyment. I went to Universal Studios this week, took some friends of ours who are big Harry Potter fans, never been to Harry Potter World. You know what I didn't know? They're opening Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't it look great so far?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it opens in like May. So I'm like, what? Are they going to have like a Super Mario Kart race feature?
That was the first thing that popped into my mind.
If I can't throw a turtle shell at somebody, someone did something wrong.
If I'm not dropping bananas every 3 steps,
Exactly.
I got so excited. It looks so cool. I'm very, very excited about that. Anyway, guys, great to have you here. And obviously, you just saw them. I'm not alone. Joining me, of course, sitting over here is the one and the only writer, director, producer, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
John, this is the last week of my entire existence I will not have seen The Batman.
That's right. Well, we're still 10 days away.
Well, but next week we're going to see it.
Is that next week?
This is the entire week. It's next week, dude.
Okay, I guess at the end of next week. We're going to be seeing it March 1st. I'm very excited about that.
March 1st is, I believe, Tuesday? Wednesday?
Yep,
Tuesday.
Well, that's just more than we. Oh, that's right, because it's a short
tomorrow.
month. It's a short month. Woo! Also joining us for that Batman screening is Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
Hey.
Looking clean shaven there.
He's already catching up on his sleep.
And his marijuana intake. Sitting right beside him is Chris Carr. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. Happy President's Day. I hope y'all are barbecuing.
I forgot about that. I'm not versed in the American holidays. We don't have Prime Minister's Day in Canada.
I couldn't remember it until I was like, wow, it is such a smooth, easy ride today. Like, no one's on the road. I got here with like 20 minutes to spare and got a Danish and was like, oh, yeah, it's a holiday.
Yeah, I thought that makes sense why Anne isn't working right now. Anne went to the gym when she normally starts work, and I couldn't put 2 and 2 together, but that's right. She's got the day off. But we don't, because the movie news waits for nobody, and it certainly doesn't wait for us, so we're so glad you're here, guys. Hey, guys, want to remind you about something. Tomorrow is the next meeting of Movie Club. So you guys make sure you get brushed up, because the movie we're talking about this week is, to celebrate Batman opening up next week to some of us, we're going to be talking about Batman Begins. So your homework today is to get caught up on Batman Begins again and join us for Movie Club tomorrow. That'll be at 4 o'clock Los Angeles time. You can look up to see what that is in your local time zone, whatever. Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget, if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, good news. There's the audio-only version that we simply call the John Campea Show podcast, and it is available on your favorite podcasting app of choice. Whatever your podcast app is, go search for the John Campea Show and subscribe to it today, so it'll be there when you need it. Now, here's how today's show is going to go, guys. We're going to break it down into 2 parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to take some predetermined topics. In the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you've got a live comment or question you'd like to send in on the show, and you're watching live, and only if you're watching live, you can use the super chat feature in the YouTube live chat, and we'll get to those when we get to the end of the main topics. But be aware that we only take so many, so I'm going to be turning off the super chat feature probably in a few minutes here. So if you've got a comment or question about any of our topics, fire them in there. Also want to remind you guys that Rob and I also do another show called Mailbag, because if you can't watch the show live and you watch a show, the other 22 hours during the day, and you've got a comment or question you'd like asked, good news, we do our show Mailbag 2 to 3 times a week. Here's how you send in a question for Mailbag. Simply go down into the description of this video and you'll see a tip link. Click on that there, or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question read on Mailbag if we deem your comment or question appropriate to be used on our show. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time. And all of us here involved with the John Campea Show, thank you so much for your support. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get things started with a couple of off the tops here, shall we? And we're going to start off with a couple of Thor 4 and Toy stories. The first one, none of them including Buzz or Woody. The first one that we're talking about is involved with Christian Bale's gore. I almost said Christian Gale's bore. Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher, which the movie fan community went absolutely nuts when we found out that Christian Bale was going to be in Thor 4, breaking his previous vow after Batman that he wasn't going to be in any more comic book movies. Well, when you got an Academy Award winning filmmaker like Taika Waititi at the helm, I guess that can change your mind. And change his mind, Christian Bale did, and he is coming in to play Gore the God Butcher. And we have gotten our first look at what he's going to look like, sort of. Because there's a Lego set coming out, and while this gives us no degree of detail, it is nonetheless the first kind of peek we're getting at what he's going to look like. So it comes from a box set. Rob, do you want to remind everybody what the name of the box set is?
I forgot. What was it?
The Goat Boat.
The Goat Boat.
The Goat You were the one who told me.
I was just reading it, but I didn't remember. It didn't go into my memory when I was looking at it. I will say, John, it looks like a really cool. I mean, it's a whole Viking boat.
I mean, it is, and it's being pulled, title appropriate, by two giant goats.
Two giant goats are pulling it.
Pulling the goat boat. Now, in this goat boat, we have a look at a character that there he is, standing outside of the boat, holding Boba Fett's big Tusken Raider pike. There's our first look at Gore. There he is. He looks like the Mummy, and that's okay. But there he is. I think there's another image with him.
I think it's pretty audacious that Taika Waititi decided to make all the characters in Thor: Love and Thunder look like Lego people.
That's exactly what he's going for. Let's see if we can get a better look at him here. Hold on a second. There he is again, down here in the corner, Gore. Of course, we got Korg in there. This is a character in the middle. I got to say, I'm not quite sure who this is. I think it says...
Isn't that Valkyrie?
No, it says... Oh, wait, it's King Valkyrie. I'm sorry, it looks like she's got a goatee. Come on, I'm not the only one that
There's
thinks
nothing wrong with that, by the way, if she did.
That's what it confused me, because I could recognize the word king, and it looks like she's got a goatee. I thought, is Tony Stark in this? Okay, so there's Valkyrie, Thor, Korg, Mighty Thor, and Gore, the God Butcher, taking a look at him there. So it's an interesting look. I think also here in the picture, I think there's something about, he's hiding at the side of the boat. Asgard Tours. Is how it says on the side of the boat. Asgard Tours. I want to take a look at these goats, though. My God, I love those. I'm all about the goats. I want the Hot Toys 1/6-inch scale of the goats. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for now. Anyway, Rob, look, this is just a little thing here. What do you think about the look we're getting?
First of all, I just love that there's a Viking ship or goat boat in this movie. Hopefully, I would assume that there is. And it's being, I don't know where. Does that mean they're giving tours of where they're at in Norway? Where bro Thor played a lot of video games? Is that where they're touring? I'm looking forward to this, man. This movie's going to be bonkers, John. I mean, we're talking about the bonkersness of the multiverse of madness, but I think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be equally bonkers in a different sort of a way. And knowing that we're getting a Viking boat already, I'm in.
What do you think about the look of Gore itself, though? Like, it's kind of, he's kind of got that plainer look, which, of course, we have seen overtures of that in the comics.
Yeah.
But kind of wondering, I thought they might go with something a little with more flair, but what do you think of it?
I want to see how obviously he's portrayed and how he moves. Maybe he has energy pulsating within him. Like, I'm going to have to wait to see on camera, but it's an interesting choice. That sort of white, marbly look.
Like I said, more kind of like a mummy. He almost looks like the mummy in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with that. Why not?
Chris, you had a chance. You're taking a look at this picture. First of all, what do you think about the basic look? Obviously, we're not getting any detail from a Lego picture. I mean, let's not be stupid.
I mean,
but
the Lego looks like Mumra and Voldemort had a baby.
that's exactly what it looks like.
So, but I'm here for it. I love that combination. I'm excited about it. And Taika said that this is the most bananas film he's ever done. So I'm excited to see what the actual character comes to look like. But I think we can expect, something very, very spooky, and no nose.
I got to ask Ray about this too. Ray, you had a chance taking a look at.
Back up.
There he is there, kind of like in his white wrap and again his Boba Fett Tusken spike there, standing outside of the boat. I don't know. Like I didn't know if our first look would have something with like more flair or whatever. He seems to be going with a simple approach. What do you think of it?
I'm all that stands out to me is just the Jane Foster look. I really dig it, and we'll be talking about it in the next thing. But Gore, I don't know anything about him, so I can't really give you an opinion. I mean,
He's a god butcher. That's all you need to know.
It's hard to tell from a Lego, so maybe I'll just wait for maybe another like an action figure or something.
Yeah.
But I can't really.
And this comes out in July, right, John?
June or July. I can't, like, one of the two things. Ray, if you can look that up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's either June
have
or
it up
July,
right
I
here.
believe.
I
So,
think it'd be because June's too close to Doctor Strange, which is May.
yeah, that's right. So,
So-
July would make more sense.
Yeah.
Which means we could be getting some trailer action at some point. But at any rate, guys, question is, what do you think? Our first little kind of minor peek, maybe, from a Lego version of what Gore the God Butcher may look like. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, let's go on to another off the top, and it's very similar to the first one in the fact that it talks about toys from Thor. I'm mixing my syllables up here. Thor 4, and that is this. You know, the fan community, when all the buzz, when I believe it was at Comic-Con, that you had Kevin Feige out on stage, and he was out there, and Taika Waititi was there, and they were making announcements, and Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, came walking out on stage, and they announced she's going to be in Thor 4, and Taika Waititi got down on one knee and lifted up with both hands Mjolnir and handed it to Natalie Portman, which got a lot of people talking, speculating. Now, of course, we know she's going to be playing some kind of version of Thor. Whether they're going to call her Lady Thor, or they're just going to call her Jane, or they're going to call her Mighty Thor, whatever they actually refer to her as in the movie, we'll have to find out. Now, we've seen some art about the look, but now we've got some images of the larger toys coming out that's giving us a better look at a couple of things, including her holding the reassembled, the reforged Mjolnir, put together, assumingly from the shattered pieces that Thor's sister shattered it and destroyed it. But we also get a good look at Thor with Stormbreaker. Now, all of them are showing some images with the Thor hammer utilizing some power. We've got one image here where it's like a yellow thing of electricity, not actually being able to see the hammer itself. Leads me to believe that maybe this has something to do with the reforging of the hammer, because you don't really see it under there. Because we get another look at the hammer where the hammer is under there, but it's got that traditional blue lightning look that the toys will use and stuff like that. Not super thrilled with the face sculpt. I look at that and I don't see Natalie Portman. But that's fine. It's okay. A lot of times these non-hot toy figures, this is from Bandai.
Yeah, they do, and they're 12 scale, so they're half the size of it.
Right. So they don't have as much room to work with still. Chris Hemsworth, though, looks pretty good. Actually, no, he looks better than pretty good. He looks pretty damn good. Still wielding Stormbreaker there. So that's looking all right. Again, we talked a little bit about the new look of Thor's outfit. It's rocking more of that royal blue in there. I'm thinking it's looking really good. But we also get a good shot here of what Jane Foster's Mighty Thor is going to look like. I think the helmet looks great on her. The armor looks good. All that kind of stuff. So anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a look at these images. What's standing out to you?
John, once again, I'm going to have to come to you for a raise because I've got to get more Hot Toys money. I look at the Jane Foster. I want that Jane Foster as Thor. And if you think, I mean, how many variants are they going to make from Doctor Strange and Thor and Moon Knight? I look, you got to double my salary, dude. Otherwise, I'm going to go. I got a mortgage to pay. I'm going to go broke on Hot Toys. Just do something. Help me out.
Where would you say right now, like all things considered, with how close the movie is now?
Right.
All the things we've been hearing. We just got a first little glimpse of what maybe Gore, what kind of look we could see from Gore. Nothing detailed. We're getting some now look at the outfit, something a little bit more tangible with the 1/12 scale figures. Where's your anticipation level right now for this movie?
Well, I have to tell you, going by Taika Waititi's past work, which is, of course, you know, his wonderful Oscar-winning film with your favorite scene with the shoes ever, Jojo Rabbit, and then Thor Ragnarok. I mean, just those two movies alone tells me that we're going to get something pretty special, I think, because I loved Ragnarok. You know, I really did. And I was surprised at how funny it was. And a lot of people like you've always pointed out, it was funny, but also one of the darker Marvel movies made. The destruction
Yes.
of Asgard. I mean,
The death of Odin.
the death of Odin, and the shattering of Mjolnir. It was a heavy movie, but it was very funny, and I expect more of that. Which that's a hard thing to do. To be able to do. Peacemaker did it very well. So I'm really, really, really anticipating Thor: Love and Thunder. I think I'm going to love it.
Chris, you're taking a look at these images of these toys, getting a good look again at Natalie Portman, a little bit more Chris Hemsworth, what their character is going to look like. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I love these figures. I would actually possibly buy a hot toy.
What?
I might pop my hot toy cherry.
Well, these aren't hot toys. No, these are Bandai.
These are just regular guys?
These
These are
are
Bandai.
12.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Well, I like
imagine
them.
imagine
But a
Hot Toys
version of that
those.
then is
Yeah.
it will have a better face sculpt then.
Yes, it
Oh,
will.
it'll have much
But
better face sculpt. Yeah.
These are great. I like them a lot. And this comic book arc too is so good. The Mighty Thor, the Goddess of Thunder by Jason Aaron is such a good story. So I'm just really hyped to see how they pull it off, especially with Taika directing.
And that's the key thing for me here is Taika directing, right? Like I loved what he did with Thor Ragnarok. Love that movie. What he pulled off in that movie is crazy. But then I see Jojo Rabbit, and you start to get a glimpse of what Taika is truly capable of as a storyteller, and what he can do with characters, and what he can really do with heavy subject matter. Because, as heavy as the stuff in Thor Ragnarok was, with the death of Odin, the destruction of Asgard, all that kind of stuff, there's a disconnect because that's fantasy. In Jojo Rabbit, he's dealing with something that was all too real. And he handled it with such grace that he made us laugh, and he let us feel okay about laughing. And when you see a filmmaker that it can do that sort of a thing, you just get more excited about when he returns to the fantastical in the comic book genre realm. And I cannot wait. I think these look great. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about these figures that we're seeing? Do you like the look? Do you not? Where's your anticipation level right now for Thor, Love and Thunder? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we've got one more off the top to do, and that is this. One of my favorite filmmakers is actually Shane Black. What this guy has been able to do, and his creativity, his writing prowess, I'm just a big fan of the dude, particularly Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes.
I always got to be careful to say that right. Kiss Kiss, because I've been caught on that before, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, absolutely one of my favorites. And a film that kind of was a big part in helping to rejuvenize Robert Downey Jr.'s career. Of course, fast forward a few years later, Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. re-teamed up again to do Iron Man 3. A movie that I actually quite like.
I do too.
I don't put it in the top 15 or 20 MCU movies, but I quite like it. A lot of people complained because it was an Iron Man movie that didn't have a lot of Iron Man in it. And I get that. I can see that complaint, so I acknowledge that. But I still kind of liked it. Unfortunately, Shane Black then did that Predator movie. And I was so excited for that Predator movie.
Dude.
And I told everybody, you wait, this movie's going to be awesome. With Shane Black doing it.
Bless.
Woo! That was bad. That was bad. Oh, it's too bad. But whatever. Everybody has
He had the
bad.
Nice Guys with Russell Crowe and
Oh,
Ryan
God.
Gosling.
Fun.
Like,
That was good.
The poster child movie, whenever people complain, Hollywood doesn't do anything original anymore. It's like, shut the fuck up. He made Nice Guys and you just didn't go see it. So just you be quiet. Anyway, because Nice Guys was incredible. Russell Crowe, pardon me, my favorite actor, Ryan Gosling, good Canadian kid. It was wonderful, that movie. Well, apparently now, we're about to see Robert Downey Jr. and Shane Black team up again for a new movie based on a novel series for Amazon Studios. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. Robert Downey Jr. is set to reunite with former Iron Man 3 director Shane Black for a new streaming movie. The film is an adaptation of the highly popular crime fiction novels known as the Parker series, written by Donald E. Westlake. The series consists of a total of 24 books, which were released between 1962 and 2008. In addition to Marvel Studios' Iron Man saga, Black and Downey also previously collaborated on the 2005 black comedy crime thriller Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which starred Downey in the lead role. Now Empire has revealed that Black has written a script for the new film, which is set to be headlined by Downey. The MCU actor will play the main character of the Westlake crime fiction novels, who is simply known as Parker. The project is being developed by Amazon Studios and will reportedly make its debut on Amazon Prime Video. This new film adaptation is produced by Downey, his wife Susan Downey, and Joel Silver. Silver also collaborated with Black on several of his previous films, such as The Nice Guys and the Lethal Weapon franchise. That again comes to us from Screen Rant. And listen, I'll tell you what, I love this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a new Shane Black project. So I'm excited right there and then and there. Number two, I'm excited to see Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. working together again. But number three is this. It's fair to say that Robert Downey Jr. has struggled in recent years with anything outside of him playing Tony Stark. He did The Judge, which I actually thought was a pretty good movie. Mm-hmm. Got an Academy Award nomination for his co-star from The Godfather.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall, thank you. I believe Robert Duvall got an Academy Award nomination for that. Well deserved. But the fact of the matter is the movie flopped. And it flopped pretty badly. Then came the triumphant Dr. Dolittle.
Wow.
My favorite memory of Dr. Dolittle was I watched it with Aaron Cummings. Me and Aaron went to go watch it. And we didn't say a word to each other through the movie. Credits rolled, lights in the theater came up, and she just turned to me and said, well, that was spectacularly awful. Spectacularly awful. And it's true. And I'm just like, right? I mean, how you could have that collection of talented people and make something so bad is beyond me. And of course, it tanked and bombed and nobody wanted to go see it. So in recent years, he has struggled with getting. The reason I'm excited about this sounds like exactly the kind of character he should be playing right now. This sounds exactly like the type of project that Robert Downey Jr. could sink his teeth into. Something like an Unto a Sherlock Holmes, which, by the way, I also really do like him as Sherlock Holmes quite a bit. So this is kind of like them. Get him in there as a crime solver, a sleuth, or whatever. This could be exactly the kind of role for him that could reestablish his post-MCU career. Not that he won't be back in the MCU, because we all know he will at some point, somehow, some way. But anyway, I think this is terrific news. Rob, you hear about Robert Downey Jr. taking on the Parker series, whatever it's called there. What do you think about it?
I'm in. I think it's a perfect role for him. And, The Nice Guys, I love that movie. I love Val Kilmer played the character. I think his name was Gay Perry.
Gay Perry and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Gay Perry and Kiss. I love their chemistry. I thought that casting was terrific. The Parker novels. I mean, I think hopefully we're going to get a renaissance of these long-running detective book series, like we have Reacher already on Amazon, and then we're going to get the Parker. I'm sure it'll be a series, not just a one-off. Probably. I'm there for it, man. I think he's perfect casting. Bring it on.
Chris, you hear about this. We've got Shane Black, Robert Downey Jr., a long-running book series. Good move for them, bad move for them. How do you see it?
Oh, excellent move for them. I love Shane Black. I think his films are required viewing at Christmas time. I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I have a really big soft spot for Iron Man 3 because when I first moved to LA, I got to go to a talk back with Shane Black, and it was just amazing. My friend Miju got me in there. Thank you, Miju. And it was my first LA thing I got to do, and it made me feel really cool with such a great writer and director. I think this is a great move for Robert Downey Jr. He's excellent at playing these sleuths. He works so well with Shane. I think this is a no-brainer. And to have all those books, I think you're right, Rob. It's going to be an ongoing film series because if we've got great IP to work with and we execute it well, this could be just, a cash cow.
And it's going back to what Shane Parker. Shane Black does best. Long Kiss Goodnight, Last Boy Scout, all scripts that he wrote. Famously, he broke through with Lethal Weapon. Mm-hmm. I think, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was the same kind of movie, like with Nice Guys as well. Some kind of sleuthing, capering, some kind of bad guys out there doing horrible things, and a main character who thwarts their plans. I mean, Shane Black, this is his wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. This is where he lives. I can't wait.
I remember a quick Shane Black story. A couple of years ago, prior to Comic-Con, this company threw a big pre-Comic-Con party in LA. It was down at the W, and Schnepp and I went down to it, and we had this private cabana with us, one or two of our friends, and Shane Black and a couple of his friends. That dude is hilarious.
Oh, he is.
He's absolutely hilarious. And he's like, we start talking, and there's like a lot of like beautiful people there and whatever. And something along the lines, he goes, yeah, man, like my life's changed, and we're making the films I used to make and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and something came along, somebody told a joke about pickup lines. He goes, want to see my pickup line? We're like, what? And he goes, hey, I got Robert Downey Jr. on my speed dial. He said that's like, the dude was just funny and hilarious, and I love the guy. And you're right. The fact that this is a however many 20-something books, that's not a coincidence. They're doing this in the hopes that it becomes franchise. And if they can make it work, maybe it will. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? We got Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. combining forces again. I think this is a terrific sounding thing. How do you guys feel about it? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass, and as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea. And a big thank you to the folks over at Masterclass for sponsoring the John Campea Show. I'm not kidding, guys. Like, the Bob Iger thing was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I like to think I can't really cook all that well, but I like to pretend that I can. A couple of the Gordon Ramsay ones were really great.
They're so good.
Natalie Portman's acting one you were telling me.
Oh my gosh, the Natalie Portman one is fun to watch. Learn how to debone a whole chicken with Gordon Ramsay.
Really?
Like, it's great.
I've always wondered
so
how
fun.
they do that.
Oh, dude, seriously. Like, some of the stuff on there is amazing. You guys definitely check out Masterclass. Use the promo code Campea for 15% off. And yeah, just go use that. And thank you again to Masterclass. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? It's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
First one is from Steve Calderon. Hi, John and crew. It's a great weekend for Tom Holland. When isn't it? He now has 2 movies in the top
Dating
3.
Zendaya.
Winning.
He now has 2 movies in the top 3 box office, with Uncharted at number 1 and Spider-Man No Way Home at number 3. Uncharted opened much higher than what Sony was projecting. The movie also crossed 100 million globally. What are your thoughts on this weekend's box office?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yeah, Uncharted. So we did a story last week about the fact that Sony was projecting somewhere around $30 million for the 4-day weekend. Whatever the number would be for the proper weekend, a little bit less than that, but they're projecting $30 million. And we said on this show, that's not enough. There'll be more than enough to be number 1 at the box office, but that is not enough for your opening weekend when you're a movie called Uncharted and your budget was $120 million. And we said, well, you know what, if they can exceed expectations and come in around 50, then they may be in business. If they can come in around 50. Well, guess what? They did. As we've got Uncharted doing much better at the box office than we thought that they were going to do, and much better than they thought they were going to do. This comes us from the folks at Coming Soon to write the following. After plenty of anticipation, Sony's big screen adaptation of the popular Naughty Dog video game Uncharted finally hit theaters and exceeded expectations. Early estimates.
Just because you boners didn't like it.
Early estimates saw Tom Holland, the Tom Holland Mark Wahlberg action adventure, opening somewhere in the mid $30 million range. But despite a slew of negative reviews from the critics, like Ray Ora, unlike Ray Ora, I should say, audiences welcomed the flick with open arms. The tune of $44 million over the 3-day weekend and $51 million over the 4-day holiday weekend per deadline. Comparatively, Sonic the Hedgehog earned $58 million in 2020, Pokemon Detective Pikachu earned $54 million in 2019, and Lara Croft Tomb Raider collected $47 million in 2001. Each of those films went on to gross over $100 million, which, aside from Pokemon, was enough to grant a sequel. And again, that comes to us from the good folks over at Coming Soon. This is a huge over the expectation level. Like when you're considering that they were thinking 4-day weekend, maybe 30, and this thing comes in at 51, a proper opening weekend of $44 million. This is great. It should be pointed out as well that that's not the only way Uncharted exceeded expectations. Because while I didn't like the film, I thought it had some things going for it, and I gave a big pros and cons list. I thought Tom Holland was very good. I thought the set pieces were great. I thought the action was well choreographed. Overall, I didn't like the film. Rob liked it a little bit less than me. Chris liked it exactly as much as Chris thought she was going to like it. and Ray looked at us all like we were crazy and stunned when we walked. I'll never forget the look on Ray's face. We all came out of theater, and Rob and I were talking to each other, and both said, yeah, that wasn't very good. And Ray was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, but guess what? A lot of the critics didn't like it either, but about 4 out of every 10 did. Right? So it's not like none of the critics liked it. Like 4 out of every 10 did. Well, here's another way it kind of overexceeded expectations. It may have gotten a 39% on the critic rating, but with over 1,000 verified ratings from people that Rotten Tomatoes verifies actually bought tickets and went to go see the movie, 9 out of every 10 liked it.
That's right, baby. We are the real people right here.
That's fair, right?
It's very fair. So it has scored a 90% audience rating. And I think this speaks volumes that the people, when they went to go see it, they enjoyed it. They had a good time with it. And I certainly think, while I am not one of the people that like it overall. I'm not. I dislike it. I was disappointed with it. But there certainly are things in there to enjoy. And those things stood out more for a lot of the audience who went to go see it. More importantly, though, the thing far exceeded expectations at the box office. Now, if I bring up let me bring up here the Uncharted box office. I just want to bring this up here quick. Because not only did it do well for its opening weekend domestically, but internationally, worldwide, I should say, it's already almost made $140 million. Which means it is on its way to breaking even and actually becoming a little bit profitable for their first film. And I'll tell you what, even though I was a little bit disappointed with the film, I thought the bones were there for something you could build upon and improve upon. And you remember, I was like that with Underworld. The first Underworld, I was like, but there was so much good stuff there that I was excited about a sequel, even though I wasn't a big fan of the first one. I kind of feel the same way about this. I think the bones are there. Tom Holland proves he can work in this role if you do it right. And I think the bones are there that you could have a franchise on your hand, and financially it looks like they're well on their way. Rob, I'm not going to lie to you. I was surprised on 2 different fronts here. I was surprised, number one, at how well it did at the box office, which I think even Sony was very surprised by that. But the people wanted to get out there and see it. And number 2, I was surprised to see, I knew a bunch of people like Ray would enjoy it, but I didn't see that many people enjoying it. Rob, you're seeing both of these numbers. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I've been feeling guilty all weekend, and I want to take this opportunity to apologize, because after we got out of the movie, a viewer recognized us and came
Steven.
over, very nice guy, and wanted to say hello. And I'm just ranting like, that thing sucked. I'm so disappointed. And he was probably like, boy, I don't ever want to talk to the Campea crew ever again.
He was sweet. We talked for like another 15
And he
minutes after
liked
you
it
guys
too.
left.
Oh, you did. So
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
one of our viewers we ran into
Yeah.
also liked the film.
He
Yeah,
was
Yeah, and he
nice.
liked the film too. So I've been feeling like a dick all weekend. So just so you know, normally I'm amiable, like, hey, how's it going? Good to meet you. I was not that way. But no, here's the thing, John. While I didn't like the movie, I like it when movies succeed because it's good for the industry. It's good for all the people that made the films. It's good for the studio. It's just good all the way around. And more importantly, I think this is the first PlayStation production.
Yes,
And in
PlayStation
their opening
Studios.
logos, they had a lot of PlayStation characters like the God of our Kratos. They have Kratos. I want to see a God of War movie. So I'm hoping that, PlayStation, they see this as a win, and they're going to turn more of their properties into movies that are hopefully a little better than this. So there's a lot riding on this film for a lot of people. Tom Holland's career as well. So I am happy to see this movie succeed. And
Yeah.
I'm happy people like it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
good
we
to
always
like
want people to
things.
like it. I mean, you build on top of that too. Now they got Last of Us coming, although that's been delayed, but it's on its way. It's in production. They're shooting right now in Canada. Now, look, I like I said last week, I gave a big list of all the pros about the movie and all the cons.
Yeah.
If they do end up getting a sequel, they have to address the cons.
Yes.
Like their treasure hunting map following stuff was a joke. It was absolutely a joke. They've got to get a better writer to interconnect, make it flow and feel like a movie instead of just a random collection of scenes. But if they can do that, then the pros that I listed of Tom Holland working, of the set pieces feeling grand and fun,
Yeah.
and the action sequence, if they can fix those cons, and that's a big if, but if they can have something very special on their hands. And I hope they took those lessons into what they're doing with The Last of Us. I'd love to see a God of War thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. A friend of mine, I was talking with a friend of mine going, nobody would make keys out of gold. Gold is the softest metal. You'd put those things and it would bend and twist. And I'm like, that's a good point. And John,
No, it's
I don't
not.
like to dislike anything.
No, it's not.
I want to save my virulent hatred for one thing only, and that's of course modern Star Trek. So I want to love the next Uncharted.
Chris, you're seeing, number one, the financial results of this thing.
Yeah.
But also, the audience response too. 9 out of every 10 of the verified viewers coming out are saying they liked it. So how surprised are you about the financial one, about the crowd response, and what do you think this does for any potential of them actually getting an Uncharted 2?
I think they're absolutely going to do an Uncharted 2. I mean, that cutscene was them very, very proudly going, there's going to be another one.
Setting it up.
Yeah. And I, like I said before, I do think the second one promises more of what I expected. And I've gone into this, y'all, very, very clear that, I do have a chip on my shoulder about this. I wanted Nathan Fillion. I've played the games. I had this perspective. And I've tried really hard to kind of break myself away from that and view the movie for what it was. And that was great about talking to our viewer, Steven, because he wasn't a big gamer and he went, yeah, it's just kind of okay. So we kind of could talk about this as just its own action adventure. I'm really happy that people are enjoying it because, like y'all said, people enjoying movies, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And whatever critics say or whatever we say on this show, right? We're just a bunch of people giving our own opinions. It's not scripture. So if y'all like
What?
it, except for what Rob says. Everything Rob says, though.
About Star Trek.
About
The
Star
Book of Rob.
No, because then if they did that, I
Robitudes.
wouldn't be in my own book for 2 episodes.
That's true.
That was good.
Well done.
Okay.
But
I would-
if people like it, good for them. And I'm glad that, Tom Holland is getting these numbers because Tom Holland works his little tookus off. in
He
the
really
He
film.
does.
Yeah.
He
Thank
does.
you to the word
He's-
took
Let's
us.
give it up for Tom, baby.
Tom
Tom
Mr.
Holland.
Moneybags.
Tom
Mr.
Holland.
Moneybag.
Big wins. Big wins.
Top
Now,
3.
today is also a day of vindication for one Ray Ora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The justification.
Yeah.
The man. No, Ray, you see these numbers. You got to be happy with what you're seeing about the financial success and the fact that a lot of the audience liked it too.
I'm telling you, one of my big worries about this film was that he couldn't break out of the Spider-Man Peter Parker thing.
Right.
This kind of proves that he can. And I would not have watched this movie if he didn't lead. I mean, he wasn't what I envisioned as Nathan Drake, but if that's him, then that's him. But yeah, I wouldn't have watched this movie if he wasn't the lead, and I'm glad it's doing well.
Are you surprised though? Come on, you gotta be. I mean, I know you like the movie. You gotta be a little surprised by how well it's doing. Though.
Well, most people like me watch the movie with their eyes and not their buttholes like you. So
You keep asking this? How does one watch a movie with their butt?
So, I knew I would win.
I've been called a butthole viewer today. I've been called a boner by you today.
So, it's serious life lessons here from Ray. Do not watch movies with your buttholes. It will not go well.
I have to say too, I'm a big Mark Wahlberg fan, and sometimes
Ever since The Departed, man.
Sometimes and Boogie Nights all the way 25 years ago. Sometimes Mark Wahlberg is great and really well cast, and sometimes he's not. I still don't understand what happened in The Happening. I don't. But I thought he was kind of hit and miss in this movie. I liked him sometimes. I didn't like him others. But when he came out, I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel. He comes out rocking a stash, the Sully stash, and he was very funny about it. And he just seems like the kind of guy that I've never met him, but I like Mark Wahlberg, and I like to see when he's in a role. And we did see the trailer for Father Stu, which is his new movie based on a true story where he's kind of a screw up that later becomes a priest and then finds out he has physical problems. He looks terrific in that. So shout out to you, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, no, I like Mark Wahlberg too. I will say though, in all the concern that a lot of people had about whether Tom Holland was a good fit to play Nathan Drake, I'm a believer. As much as I like Wahlberg, I didn't think he was a great fit to play Sully.
It was all over the place for me.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to that fan film. Now I know for you, it's about Nathan Fillion,
But also
Stephen Lang.
He's really great.
Stephen Lang would have been a great Sully because the age doesn't matter, right? And he can do all the physicality. Like just go watch don't say a word. No. Be quiet.
Oh, yeah. Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Shut your mouth. Whatever it is. Yeah. Where Stephen Lang, a blind Stephen Lang, is going around killing folks. I mean, I think he probably would have made a better Sully, and I like Mark Wahlberg, but let's see how that evolves in the next one. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. We're seeing Uncharted having a lot more success than anybody thought, both at the box office and with the audience. How do you guys feel about that? Are you surprised? Did you have a chance to see the movie? What do you think? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Adam Douglas. Hey, crew. Have you seen the set photos of Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al Yankovic from the upcoming biopic written by Weird Al himself? What do you think of the look, and what is your level of anticipation for the movie? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. I'm a big Weird Al fan, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big Weird Al fan. I've told the story before, but just to catch you up, I am not intimidated, made nervous by any celebrities. I'll walk right up to them. I mean, Harrison Ford was a little bit of an intimidating one. I mean, that's just a dude I've been watching my whole life, and he's a hero and all that kind of stuff. But still, went right up, put up my hand, shook his hand. Mr. Ford, good to meet you. And I've got to interview him a few times. Great. I've walked right up to just about everybody. There's one person that I could never bring myself to walk up to because I am so nervous, and that's Weird Al. And I have been beside Weird Al in at least 6 or 7 occasions where I've been at a party with them or at an event with them, literally coming out of a premiere once, going up the escalators to an after party. He was literally standing on the step in front of me with Anne jabbing me in the ribs saying, introduce yourself, say hi. I'm like, no, I can't. He's terribly busy. He's very, I don't want to bother him at the party. It's weird. I can't explain why.
He's terrible.
I was at a party with Margot Robbie. I went straight up to Margot Robbie and started talking to her. I cannot do it with Weird Al. You understand, I've been listening to this guy's music.
You're a weird dude, Campea.
I've been listening to this guy's music like since I was a kid. I would get the little record and I would put it on and him singing Beat It or Eat It.
And his videos were always pretty funny.
His videos are great. Oh, I forgot to turn on the fan on Chris's thing again. I'll get that turned back on in a second.
That's okay.
Chris's
We'll
camera's
stay
up.
hanging out here.
But I mean, I idolize this guy, and I have never been able to bring myself up. Anyway, got very excited when Anne's world and my worlds seemed to overlap because Anne's a huge Potterhead, and the announcement came out that Daniel Radcliffe was going to play Weird Al Yankovic in the Weird Al Yankovic story, and I thought that was a little bit crazy. Well, now we are going to get our first look at Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al as the images have started to come out here, and let's bring these up. There he is.
I love it.
It's a mix between Weird Al, a 1980s, early 90s porn actor from Pamela and Tommy, whatever, but he's got the right shoes on. The hair looks great. The mustache looks great. There's a tighter shot here of his face dressed up as it. And I don't care when anybody says, other than the Batman, this should be everybody's most anticipated film of the year. This should be everybody's number one most anticipated film of the year. And Rob, you're gonna have to tell me if there's a hot toy of Weird Al, because I don't know if there is. There is. I'm getting that hot toy.
There isn't yet, and as people know, I am building a 6-scale ultimate band. And so far in my 6-scale band, I have John Lennon, I have Jimi Hendrix, I have Freddie Mercury, and I have Elvis. And I have David Bowie coming, and I have Prince coming, and I have Bob Marley coming.
Right. But obviously the one thing you're missing.
I'm missing, of course, I need a front man.
You need Weird Al?
I need a vocalist. So Weird Al, somebody make a 6-scale Weird Al. I'll buy it. And I'll buy 2 because I have to give one to John.
Yeah, I've got to have one. I definitely have to have one.
But what era of Weird Al would you want? Which from one of his, like, would you like to go so Phantom Menace Weird Al? Bye.
Long time ago, in a galaxy far away, Naboo was under an attack. And I thought me and Qui-Gon Jinn could talk the Federation in to maybe cutting them a little slack. Weird Al is great.
Dude, I'm getting chills that you just busted that out. That was amazing.
Bringing up the Trade Federation.
Give it to us, Ray. Give us a little Trade Federation, buddy. Come on.
No. Monday.
So here's the thing. The funniest thing about this is that Weird Al is like 6'1", 6'2", and Daniel Radcliffe is not a man of large stature. He's a shorter guy, which is cool.
So it's weird.
But it's very weird that they went in this direction. I love what I'm seeing and hearing. Rob, you had a chance to see the images. What do you think about the images, and where are you on this whole idea about this Weird Al project?
Well, first of all, the very idea of Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al is in itself a Weird Al thing to do. So, of course, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, what are you going to do? Get Howard Stern to play him? No, I think it's really good that they're doing this. Daniel Radcliffe, he's another guy. He just like Robert Pattinson. They identify him with Harry Potter. Did you see Swiss Army Man? Where
oh my gosh.
So good.
I mean,
so fun.
For him to do that, and he's been in things like Horns, which is an adaptation of the Joe King. He was
Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo. I mean, he's developing a really incredible body of work post Harry Potter. I'm there for it. I think whoever's making those choices for him, or if he's making them on his own, he's doing a great job because wildly divergent things he's done, and he has great range. Mm-hmm. And I hope they recreate a lot of the videos that he's in this, because I'm there for it, John. And like you said, hey, after Elvis, this might be my next highest anticipated movie next year.
It's right up there. Year. Chris, now that your camera's back on here, you had a chance to see the pictures. What do you think of this?
I mean, does he look a little bit like he's supposed to be on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show? Yes. Do I love it? Absolutely. Oh my gosh, should I get you to do a spit take?
Oh my god, Rob's almost choking.
Yes.
No, I almost did a spit take. Yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna get you.
Almost.
But I mean, bouncing off of what Rob said too, his body of work has been very, very diversified since Harry Potter. He's doing that Elijah Wood route, right? Of let me play things that you don't expect me to do. Let me take the most bonkers thing I can do. He was in Equus on Broadway after Harry Potter. Yeah. So he is the weird choice for this Weird Al movie. It makes sense to me.
By the way, he's coming up in that upcoming Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock comedy.
Yes.
That is he's playing the villain in it. That looks
That
better
looks
and better.
so fun.
Every time I see it. But he has kind of been taking the Robert Pattinson strategy. Robert Pattinson, Twilight Boy, and that's all everybody saw this dude as is Harry Potter. So what has he done? He's come out and he's just put together a really solid body of work, working on smaller independent stuff, getting people to really appreciate what he's doing. Now, I don't know that he's gotten to the level of a Robert Pattinson yet, but I'm excited to see this. So this looks great to me. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think of the first images we're getting of Daniel Radcliffe as the one and only Weird Al Yankovic? I think it looks great. Do you think this is going to be great? Do you think this is going to be terrible? Whatever your thoughts are, jump on down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Hey guys, we want to take a minute and thank the sponsor of today's video, the good folks at Keeps. Now look, you guys probably already know that 2 out of every 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're just 35 years old. Now that's where Keeps comes in, because Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. That means the guys that use it love it. Keeps offers a simple, affordable, and stress-free way to keep your hair. It's also low cost. Treatments start as low as just $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions for the 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss. That means treatment plans are affordable, typically half the cost of pharmacy prices. Keeps has everything your hair needs delivered straight to your door with discreet packaging and proven results. Remember, prevention is the key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so the sooner you act, the better. When it comes to your hair, save more, spend less with Keeps. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to Keeps, that's KEEPS.com/Campea to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/Campea to get your first month free. Keeps.com/Campea. All right, and special thank you to the good folks over at Keeps for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Make sure you go and use that promo code Campea, because that supports them and it supports our show. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Third topic is from Geeky Gator. Peacemaker was obviously a giant win for HBO Max and James Gunn, and really for all of us. I still can't believe how good this show was. Anyway, I caught a tweet from Gunn saying that the final episode of Peacemaker was the biggest single-day rated show ever for an HBO Max series, and that the finale was up 44% from the series premiere. Does this prove once and for all the weekly strategy works best?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in Geeky Gator. All right, we have been talking a lot around here about Peacemaker, and for good reason. This show, considering its relative low budget, which half of the budget was spent on the cow and the final cameos. I honestly think that was half of the Peacemaker budget right there. They made this show for bus fare, and they made it one of the, I still, now that the show is done, I will call it, this is the best DC show ever. And I include Smallville in that, and I really like Smallville. I include Doom Patrol in that, and I love Doom Patrol. I include a lot of the CW shows, and I like a lot of the CW shows very, very much. I think Peacemaker is the single best thing they've ever done on television, and I absolutely loved it. And we know it's been a success because the audience has kept writing in, talking about how much they've liked it, how good the show has been. James Gunn has killed it. And I'll tell you what else. Warner Brothers proved that when Disney decided to part ways with James Gunn, and there was a bidding war going on with every other studio vying for James Gunn's services, Warner Brothers proved that their gamble worked. Now, with Suicide Squad, the movie was great, but it did not do well at the box office. So maybe they were questioning their decision at the time. They ain't questioning it anymore. This show is a bona fide hit for these guys. As a matter of fact, the biggest they've ever had. And on top of that, the growth from its premiere to its finale was amazing. This comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. Both Gunn and John Cena took to Twitter to share the news that Peacemaker's Season 1 finale broke HBO Max's record for the biggest single-day release of an HBO Max original series ever. Gunn and Cena also revealed that the series' viewership had grown a great deal since it first aired its first episode in January, reporting that the finale's viewership was up by 44% when compared to the series' premiere episode. Gunn thanked audiences for showing up each week to watch each episode as it aired, while Cena also enthusiastically thanked fans for their support, stating that he was already ready for making Peacemaker Season 2. All right. An important thing to point out here is that they were not saying that this is the biggest HBO thing ever. This didn't outdraw Game of Thrones or whatever, but this is now HBO Max. And HBO Max has already had several high-profile originals, and the fact that Peacemaker, this relatively low-budget thing, I thought the trailers looked cheap, following off as a spinoff of a film that did not do well at the box office, came out of nowhere and became their number one viewed thing for a single day ever in that finale. And that is massive and monstrous. And congratulations to James Gunn and everybody over at Peacemaker and HBO. Fantastic. Well done. Well deserved. Not to mention, James Gunn just got engaged.
Yeah.
He's marrying Harcourt. And whenever a fucking nerd gets to marry out of his, weight class, all nerds around the world raise a glass.
Well, now
and James Gunn is punching out of his weight class here.
his Guardians of the Galaxy movies made $500 million. I mean,
I don't care.
He's
It
the
doesn't
silver
matter.
fox, and Jennifer Holland is very lucky.
Yes, they're
that's
both
right.
very lucky people. They're
Yeah.
both beautiful people. But congratulations to James Gunn as well. On top of that, but on top of the fact that it was so incredibly successful, the biggest thing for original they've done, I don't think it's a small thing to also take a look at and remind ourselves that it grew enormously from when it premiered to when the finale came. And like Gator in the email suggested, this is once again more proof that the week-by-week release strategy is far superior, despite the fact that I am myself a binger and I like sitting down and having every episode there. But if they had dropped Peacemaker all at once, it would have dropped, a bunch of people would have watched it, talked about it for a couple of days, and then poof, it would have been gone. It would have been disappeared out of the zeitgeist. Instead, people watched it, buzzed about it. Then next week it came out again. People buzzed again, and then buzzed again another week, and then buzzed again another week, giving it tons of time for people to hear that buzz, feel that buzz, and want to jump on the train. And the result was this incredible growth that we got with Peacemaker. Because if this thing had dropped all at once, it would not have this level of success. It just wouldn't have. It took week after week after week of people seeing it, buzzing about it, talking about it, spreading the word about how damn good this show is. Yep. And the results were incredible. So again, a big congratulations to these guys, and I'm super thrilled for them. I'm so glad. This must be what Ray feels like, seeing how many people liked Uncharted. Because like me, I didn't know if people were loving Peacemaker as much as me at all. So seeing that this many people are jumping on board with it, embracing it, loving it, embrace the dove of peace. And, I'm going to get a tattoo of it on my arm somewhere. I'm not really. I'm not cool enough to pull off tattoos. But anyway, I like it. Chris, you see, number one, this record-setting performance by the finale. Number two, the growth that the series had week by week. What are the things that stand out to you here?
Definitely the weekly release schedule. I think that is king here, right? You want to be part of the zeitgeist, and that's what works for television. You want to be around the proverbial water cooler and go, what should I be watching? Oh, that's what I should be watching? Let's talk about it. Let's have conversations. Let's have a YouTube show about it and talk about it. We want to be part of the conversation. And by releasing things in this nice, slow trickle weekly, we're going to give something legs. Because otherwise you have, I brought it up before, you've got the You situation. I watched all of You, and I'm never going to talk about what happened in that season ever again. Except for the day where I turned to Logan and went, okay, that's neat. Certain shows, certainly I want to watch in a binge format. I keep waiting on Servant, which is released week by week, but I want to binge that all at once so I can only feel uncomfortable for a day. But things like Peacemaker, I think they did a really, really smart thing by giving us this slow burn, allowing word of mouth to really carry this show and get everyone involved. My friends who aren't comic book fans and my friends who didn't like Suicide Squad love this show.
Yeah.
They're all in.
Rob, you're seeing the kind of results that Peacemaker had. Listen, as much as I know people have been writing in and talking about and buzzing about Peacemaker on this show, I was not seeing these record numbers coming in. I didn't think it would do that. And then you look at that impressive growth chart at that. What out of all this stands out to you? What's remarkable to you?
Well, I think the thing that I love the most is I believe in auteurist vision. And in this is probably the most James Gunn of all James Gunn things we've ever got. And there's been a lot of those things. Whether we talked about Slither and Super on the show, Tromeo and Juliet, the Dawn of the Dead remake that he wrote, Scooby-Doo, and then, of course, Suicide Squad. But this seemed to be uncut James Gunn. And the fact that it worked and it found an audience means that the studios are going to look for more auteurist visions, and indeed we'll get more from James Gunn, which is always great. But I think this is the kind of entertainment people like. They like to feel that there is an author behind these things and you're getting a vision that only they can bring to you. And I think that's increasingly rare in Hollywood today. not only that, but this show has given me an easy Halloween costume. If I forget to get a Halloween costume, all I need is a plastic butterfly and a trickle of blood. I put the butterfly in my mouth, trickle of blood, and I am a witty Halloween costume guy right away.
It just felt like launching with a couple of episodes, whether it's 2 or 3 episodes at once, seems to be a very winning formula because you're giving the audience a big sample size to get them started off with. Because I think the streamers understand that you've got to get the audience hooked with their first experience with the show. And maybe that takes more than 1 episode. So drop 2, drop 3, and then go week to week, get them on. So that seems to have been a strategy that worked with them very well too. I've also heard some people saying that, like, well, Book of Boba Fett should have dropped all at once. Well, you're wrong. No, it shouldn't have. And the numbers proved it. Because the Book of Boba Fett ended up getting more viewers in its finale than the finale of Mandalorian did. Mm-hmm. Season 1 or season 2. Now that would not have happened had they dropped it all at once. Now, would I have preferred as an individual viewer to sit down and watch that show all at once? Yes, I probably would have liked that as a viewer. But from a business point of view and what was best for the show, clearly that worked for it very, very well. And it's a strategy that worked for them. So again, I think this is incredible stuff. Congratulations to them on this. The numbers prove it all out, and it's absolutely fantastic. So congratulations to them. Questions for you guys. What do you think about this whole thing about what Peacemaker was able to do? Number 1, the fact that it broke all these HBO Max records. Number 2, the fact that it had such growth from episode 1 all the way down to the final episode that they aired, 44% growth. How do you feel about it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This is from Vince. Hey, John, I know you said that you didn't think Deadpool showing up in Doctor Strange would make a lot of sense or fit the tone they're going for. But what about Wolverine? There's a new report that Doctor Strange 2 will introduce a new Wolverine in it. Could you see this being more accurate than the Deadpool rumors? Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, there's a new report going around. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of talk, a lot of hype about Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness because, well, it looks like it's going to be bonkers. And of course, in the trailer, we heard Patrick Stewart and saw the little silhouette of the side of his beautifully bald head. Like, that is a man that is undeniably a powerful, powerful figure in the world of comic book movies and in the history of comic book movies, and that's there. And then people saw the image of Captain Carter's shield in one of the fragmented pieces of glass in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness poster. And there were some people who believed they saw Deadpool. We can 100% confirm for you, there is no question. I will not tell you who I spoke to, but I spoke to somebody as connected to this situation as anybody can be, who's not named Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is not in Doctor Strange 2. So whatever you thought you saw in there, it's not. But it's understandable that there's a lot of speculation about who could pop up in Doctor Strange, and the speculation continues. And let's face it, it's going to happen every single day between now and when the movie comes out. And it's understandable. There is now a report going around, though, that Wolverine is going to be appearing in Doctor Strange 2. Now, I want to point out that the source of this, remember, I always tell you guys, follow the source. Who is the originator of this story that this is happening? The originator of this story that Wolverine is going to be appearing in Doctor Strange 2 is from a site called the Illuminati. Now, this is the same site that broke an exclusive scoop claiming that Sarah was going to be in Loki. That, of course, never happened. This is also the same site that broke the exclusive scoop that Hulkling was going to be in WandaVision. Of course, that never happened. They are a site that drops a lot of scoops. A lot of them turn out to be wrong. Some of them turn out to be right, which is why I think it's at least worth us discussing about it here, because sometimes they do get them right. There is something more interesting here about the Wolverine thing, though, because I will tell you this. Wolverine appearing in Doctor Strange 2 would make a whole lot more sense than Deadpool ever would. And the main reason for that, or there's two main reasons why I would suggest that a Wolverine popping up in Doctor Strange 2, whether or not this story is true or not, I'm not going to take this story at face value. I think you have to hear this story with a huge granite-sized piece of salt. But it would theoretically fit a lot better and make a lot more sense. Reason number one why I think this is a more believable notion than the Deadpool one or any of the other ones is this, is that we need a brand new Wolverine. We know Wolverine isn't going to be Hugh Jackman anymore. Like that, unfortunately and sadly, he's made very clear. So unlike Deadpool, which is the Ryan Reynolds character, there's no need to introduce him in something. We all know who he is already, all that kind of stuff. A new version of Wolverine is something, and a new person playing it is something we need. And so something like a Doctor Strange 2 being the platform to launch with a brand new Wolverine seems appropriate. Kind of like what they did with T'Challa in Captain America Civil War, where we got our first introduction to this brand new Black Panther, T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, happened in that movie, and then kind of became the stepping stone for him to go off and do his own series. So that makes sense. The reason it makes sense, number two, is because Patrick Stewart is there. Now, I get it. Well, you know, Deadpool's a mutant, Professor... Yeah, but in pop culture and in comics and in all of our understanding, we far more associate a Wolverine with a Professor Charles Xavier than we do a Deadpool with a Professor Charles Xavier. So that in and of itself makes the idea of a Wolverine popping up in Doctor Strange 2 far more feasible to me and makes far more common sense to me than a Deadpool ever does. So number one, we need a brand new Wolverine. This would be an appropriate place to launch him like they did with T'Challa. Number two, Wolverine is far more closely associated with the Professor Charles Xavier, who we know is going to be there, than say Deadpool ever was, or a lot of other characters could be. So that's that. The third reason why I would suggest that this is a far more believable story than the Deadpool one, besides the fact that we know that the Deadpool one isn't true, is the fact that we talked a lot about tone when we were discussing Deadpool. We said, when you look at the tone Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going for, it just doesn't feel like slapping a, hey, everybody, it's me, Deadpool moment. It seems like that would kind of break the flow of what the movie's trying to do. Granted, it is Sam Raimi, and he can do some wacky things, but it still felt out of tone. A Wolverine, though, could fit right in. That tone we seem to be getting from these trailers, a Wolverine character fits in with that tone like a glove. It would fit perfectly. Now, again, let me be very, very clear here. I am 100% not saying that Wolverine is going to be in Doctor Strange 2, nor am I saying that I believe this report. But it's worth at least paying a little bit of attention to because, number one, it's a character that we need an introduction to. Number two, it is a character far more associated with another character that we know is in the movie. And number three, it is a character that far more fits the tone, even as a small cameo, than a Deadpool or a lot of other characters would. So while I am not saying that I am believing that Wolverine is going to be in this movie, I am saying it's a lot more plausible than the Deadpool one or several of the other ones that we've heard so far. Anyway, Rob, you saw this report coming out about, Deadpool and everything. And the Wolverine possibly popping up in here. What do you make of it?
Well, I think you just presented a very cogent argument of why Wolverine might show up in this new film. And also, look, if our theory and many fan theories about we are now witnessing a post No More Mutants timeline that we've been watching the whole time for the MCU, having someone beyond Xavier being able to explain what happened, like Wolverine either could be a refugee of this or kind of like how the two of them were together in Logan. I love that idea. That maybe we're seeing like somehow Logan comes after this movie, like in the timeline. I don't know. But I love the relationship Wolverine and Xavier have with one another. And I think you're right. I think that wouldn't it be a great way to slowly start injecting mutants into the MCU? And who better than to do that with? If you go back to X-Men 1, who was the first character that we met? It was Wolverine in a cage fight. And Wolverine
In Canada, by the way. Just want to point that out.
he comes
He's a
from
good
he comes from
Canadian.
The old knucklehead.
he is a knucklehead, and I think that it's an interesting way to go. Plus, if they wanted to, you introduce Wolverine, then you can make a Wolverine movie and introduce more of the X-Men in that Wolverine movie. So I think it's probably a really good way to go. But like you said, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Chris, you hear the story coming out here. I mean, the source it's coming from is iffy, hit and miss. Might be real, might not be. I'm not saying I necessarily lean into it myself, but there's a certain number of things here that make it worth thinking about. You hear this story. Number one, how well do you think a Wolverine would or would not fit into a movie like this? And then ultimately, at the end of the day, do you believe the story or do you not, and why?
I mean, I'm pretty iffy on whether or not this is a real lead, you know? But that said, I do think Wolverine would fit well into this kind of story. Is it what I want, even based off of all the wonderful things you guys are saying? Maybe not. Just because, and I know the comics are different from the movies, but House of M, it's so wonderfully executed that Logan finally gets what he wants, his memories. And that's why he's so aware of everything that's happening, you know? And I really want to see House of M play out fully, and I don't know if we're going to have that.
But you just said what would be really cool in terms of a characterization of Wolverine.
Yeah.
If the Wolverine we met in this movie is that
very
post-house.
self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Which
and
would
you
be
know-
Now I'm
really
getting
neat.
chills already.
Now,
thinking
Right?
about it.
and you know what that's very, very similar to? Go back to my favorite comic book story of all time, X-Men Apocalypse. There is one character who carried the memories of the pre and post events that changed everything, and that was Bishop. They could borrow from that as well because they've already done it in House of M.
That's true.
And say, if Wanda at some point in that, now we're getting into ifs built on
Yeah.
ifs built on this, but if that theory that's out there of at some point in a number of years earlier, Wanda Maximoff said the words "no more mutants" and wiped mutants out of the world and out of everybody's memories, but one of them remained, who still carries the memories of those, and that being Logan. I love that tie-in.
I mean,
Please
I think that'd be
continue.
cool. Really, though, I'm just focused on who would be our Wolverine, and I love the chat saying Daniel Radcliffe. I think that's
Well, I posted
fun.
a picture. Somebody
Yeah,
made a picture this
I
week.
loved that.
I put on Instagram of Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine.
I'm super here for that. I also would love Jared Kiso from Letterkenny.
Oh my gosh.
I would love that.
He carries the physique. You know who I've been saying could play, and everybody's going to laugh at me, and I don't care. I think Zac Efron would make a great Wolverine.
You know,
I really do.
Yeah,
he-
grime him up good.
Although
yeah.
maybe not old enough. Maybe he's not old enough.
He's now at least in that dad
Yes.
echelon.
Yeah,
so
he's playing dads in movies
Yeah.
now.
Well, he's in
He's got the physique.
Firestarter, and he looks like look. I've always liked him.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not. If you think about it, look at his face and what they could do with his hair. And he's got that physicality. He could probably bring the ferocity. You know, I mean, I could see that happening. But again, you'd get the Twilight Boy scenario times 1,000.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I mean,
put High
maybe
School
yes.
Musical in my Marvel movie. I hate
But if it
it.
works with Pattinson, I mean, another guy that I think would be a very, very interesting Wolverine would be a Charlie Hunnam from Sons of
Ooh,
Anarchy. He's a guy who I would think would fit in that very well. But again, it's one of those X actor and X role things. I think there's a lot of guys they could pick, and we always got to keep this in mind, guys. Whoever they pick to be Wolverine, just remember that when they announced Hugh Jackman, this song and dance man from Australia, this guy who is way too tall and probably far too pretty,
And no one had ever heard of.
and no one had ever heard of him, nobody liked it, and nobody was happy. And now here we are several decades later, and we have a very hard time imagining anybody other than Hugh Jackman playing it. So whenever they announce this new Hugh Jackman, whether we love the idea at first or not, let's all just take a breath and let it see it play out a little bit. As long as they get a talented performer, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So I know, Ray, I wanted to ask you, not who do you think should play Wolverine, but do you think
don't wanna
Wolverine? I want to know. Would you want to see a Wolverine in this? Do you think we could? See
I
him in
think
this?
to be honest, I wouldn't know where he would fit. My knowledge is not, I don't know enough about the House of M or anything. I just think it's a little crowded right now. It's just still,
Well, it's super
it's getting crowded right now.
Yeah.
Wolverine, I would want a better introduction, but if they did it, I wouldn't mind. I'd be excited just as anybody else, but I just don't know where he would fit in this whole thing. I just don't know enough to know where he would fit in. I mean, I would welcome it for sure, but
I'm just wondering, this just occurred to me. I wonder if Marvel is reissuing the House of M omnibus. They always tie in their releases of
say,
like
be smart,
omnibuses. I never thought about that. I'm going to go look into that, John.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a good one. Check. And again, this would follow Marvel's pattern of they never do any of the comic book stories verbatim, but they always borrow. They borrow themes and whatever and kind of tie them in, and how close they might do that with House of M. Because remember, Elizabeth Olsen once said when she was talking about WandaVision, and I might not be remembering this exactly right, but I remember her talking about where do we see Wanda going, and she mentioned House of M, but she never specifically said that was for WandaVision. I mean, as far as I remember, just, you know, in hindsight, I don't remember her saying specifically this is just about WandaVision, but like, could she have been referring to something that would come further down the road?
Yeah, and what if they pitched that to her when they first cast her? And they said, you know, because I don't think people do not give, even though he's the most successful producer in Hollywood history, Kevin Feige's a big Star Trek fan.
Yes.
And I said over the weekend, I said Endgame was all good things. This, maybe I said it on this show, what they're doing, what we believe in, what they're doing is one of the great episodes of Next Generation. It's called Yesterday's Enterprise, where history changed and the Federation was at war with the Klingons and the Federation was losing. And it changed 20 years of history. It's one of the greatest episodes of Next Generation ever. That's what they're doing. Except we're already inside Yesterday's Enterprise and nobody remembers the way it was. There's no Guinan who says, you know, and having Wolverine remembering, I think we're going to see it. The more the
impact of this movie is going to be greater than any of us probably expect.
I think you're right, because I said on the show last week, I said, look, I think there are two movies coming, one in DC, one in Marvel, that I think are really going to set the stage for where both of these cinematic universes are going. One is Flashpoint for DC. That's going to completely clear up and kind of show us what direction that whole movie franchise is going. But I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be that movie for the MCU. It's really going to set the stage for what's coming up next.
They're like the road to WrestleManias. Right.
That's exactly
the two movies. Where you
exactly
see the blueprint of where they're going.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still, though, I mean, I said this when we weren't on camera. I don't trust or love anyone when it comes to who's not in this movie.
Right.
I don't believe anyone about anything. Scarlett Johansson could be like, obviously I'm not in it. My character's dead. And I'd be like, no, you're showing up.
Anyway, guys, question for you is, what do you think about this report going around that Wolverine is going to pop up in it? I mean, there's maybe some possibilities to believe it, maybe not. But I think as an idea, it's far more coherent than the idea of a Deadpool popping up in there. What would you think about a Wolverine popping up in a Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness? Do you like it? Do you not? Does it make sense to you? Does it not? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're now going to move on and start taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we want to hear from one more of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, the good folks at Liquid IV. We want to take a minute and thank the sponsors of this video, Liquid IV. Now listen, just one stick of Liquid IV added to 16 ounces of water will hydrate you faster and more efficiently than just water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. And what makes Liquid IV so effective is the science of cellular transport technology, or CTT. You see, it's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into your bloodstream faster and more efficiently. It tastes great, and it's a great thing to take when you feel run down, you need your daily hydration boost, or even a little bit of hangover recovery. You know, Ann and I get up pretty early in the morning to go to the gym because we can't go to the gym at any other time during the day. And for the last couple of weeks, I have been drinking 1 full glass of water with Liquid IV, and all I can tell you is you can feel the difference during the workout. So go and grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today when you go to liquidiv.com, and remember, use the promo code at checkout, CAMPEA. And once again, thank you to the good folks at Liquid IV for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with all that down, let's now move over and start taking your live comments and questions you guys were firing in since the beginning of the show. So let's jump on over there. Chris, what do we got?
Nate Bulwer kicking things off with a $9.99 super chat just to support us.
Thanks, you, Nate.
Mods of Jada, at least have Tom, Toby, and Andrew present Oscar.
I mean, look, I still think it would have been a great idea to have them host the Oscars. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm still befuddled about their choices.
Yeah.
Who they chose. There were so many other great names they could have got, even if they wanted to have, because they've never had 3 female hosts for the Oscars. If that was a mandate for themselves to do, there were a lot of great people they could have got. I am just still kind of confused by their choices. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack, both Uncharted and Dog did above expectations this weekend. Good for them.
Yeah, Dog did better than they expected as well. It made well into the double digits. Good for them. Good for that. I mean, listen, good for the box office overall. That we have Uncharted exceeding expectations, Dog exceeding expectations. I mean, this bodes very well for the Batman.
Yes, it does.
Because everything's about how does it connect to the Batman. All right, what's next?
Raymond Verrata, Jonathan K. Hugh Kwan took up acting again after watching Crazy Rich Asians. He's now Michelle Yeoh's husband in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I hope he can play Short Round again in Indiana Jones.
It was last week that you guys pointed out to me that the Michelle Yeoh's husband in Everything Everywhere All at Once trailer, which is bonkers good, by the
Yeah.
way. It was you guys who pointed out to me that was Short Round. I had no idea. And all of a sudden I got real excited about that. Like this, like
That movie looks great.
It looks
Doesn't it?
amazing.
It looks really good.
And Michelle Yeoh looks nuts, and it's just
Talk
like
about
I'll
a
watch anything with her.
multiverse.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh.
like this is a multiverse movie, so
Yeah.
we'll see how they're going to go with it. All right, what's next?
Milo, Cap didn't become Thor when lifting Mjolnir. My theory is that Thor is actively sharing his power with Jane, which changes her look. Still not totally on board with Jane becoming Thor idea, though.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: it doesn't matter whether we like the idea or not. What matters is does it work in the movie. Our theories and thoughts pre the movie is kind of irrelevant. We have to, and it's fine for us to have our ideas and thoughts on something before a movie. That's what being a movie fan is. But then we got to take those expectations, those thoughts, and those theories. We got to leave them down at the door of the theater and leave them there when we go in to watch the movie. And that's all that matters.
Plus,
It
it's
doesn't
right,
work.
right out of the comics. You know, this is not, again, Marvel is always looking back toward the comics. And who doesn't want to see Natalie Portman pick up a hammer?
I mean, and one other thing, Natalie Portman said something really interesting. She said something along the lines of, she's now a woman with this incredible power, but the more she uses that power, the worse it makes her condition.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, that creates this great dilemma as
Yep.
well. I love the sounds of this. I think this sounds great. All right, what's next?
Deficit Music sending in a super chat just to support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beagle Studios. What's up, guys? Saw Uncharted and I loved it. One of my favorites for sure. Also, my show's first episode hit 400 views in 3 days.
Yeah, good for you, man.
And shout out to my homeboy Chef Pleasures, as we are now Facebook friends. Woo woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that did I think that's the one that did the Sparrow.
Oh, sweet.
He sent in a question about his new project. It
Oh, cool.
released episode 1 of Sparrow.
Awesome.
First of all, and then Bigo also sent in like a $20 super chat, so thank you so much for that. And again, it just goes to point out like the Rotten Tomatoes critic rating. A lot of people like this. Listen, even after we did that episode last week about how, you know, I found it pretty disappointing, but Ray liked it. Got comments from a lot of people, right? And it's like, hey, I can see what you're saying, but I kind of liked it. I mean, it's working for people, and people dug it. So, I mean, more and more people are on Team Chef Pleasures when it comes to Uncharted than not. So we'll see where it goes. So thanks a lot for sending that, and congratulations on your success there, man. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. Hey, John, wanted to let you know that you and your crew really make my day.
Aw.
Especially since my great aunt, who was like my third grandmother, died Friday evening.
Oh,
I'm
so sorry to hear that, Sam. And it's, I mean, listen, for you and for all of us, I think having the fan community that we can just get together with and talk about these things and just talk about the things we enjoy and that we love is such a balm on a healing balm, if you will, on all the other things we have going on. I'm glad this community can be that for you, and I'm glad you're a part of it, man. All right, what's next?
Out of Time 1985. What would be the cameo that has only like 1% chance of happening in Doctor Strange 2? For me, I think there's a slight chance a DC character could appear. I mean, it is a multiverse of madness.
No, that's less than zero. That's absolute less than zero. As far as what characters could have 1% chance, I mean, you can name 1,000 of them.
Paste Pot Pete.
Cannonball. Cannonball.
Bagman.
Maybe one of the characters from
Madman's
New
not
Mutants.
Bombastic Bagman. Give me
oh.
that Spider-Man.
One of the characters from New Mutants. Bring him back in. That would be
Dazzler.
like that would be like a
Oh
one.
man, I would love it if Dazzler was part of the Illuminati.
Oh my
That'd
God.
be awesome.
That'd be dope.
All right, what's next?
Danito. Chance of one day seeing Marvel DC crossover movie?
I mean, whenever you say one day or chance, the answer is almost always yes. Someday, maybe, but not anytime soon. By the way, Marvel and DC are reissuing one of their crossover comic events soon. I can't remember which one it was exactly, but I just saw that. So could it happen someday? Sure. But then you have to ask the question, what's the point?
Well, I gotta tell you though, if you did that, because remember, Disney Marvel, they're already crossing over with Sony. So they figured out a way to work with another studio for a character. Can you imagine if they did a Justice League Avengers? Because I love George Perez, the great George Perez drew that comic when the Justice League and the Avengers. Dude, come on. Get like we've said, I think we joked on this show, John. This was like years ago, but we get James Cameron to direct. You bring the Avengers and the Justice League together. That movie makes all the money.
I'm not so sure that's true.
I think it'd be great.
I don't know. If I'm Kevin Feige and I'm Marvel, whenever you're proposing any kind of a business arrangement or business deal, you have to ask the other party, what are you bringing to the table? Like it's great. Like I can go to, I don't know, Philip DeFranco, right? Who is a much bigger, much more talented, much more successful YouTuber than me, right? I could go to Philip DeFranco and say, hey man, I'd like to propose we do, what do you call it when two YouTubers do something together?
Collaboration.
A collaboration. Yeah, I don't do collaborations, by the way. But I could go to him and propose a collaboration. It would be great. But Philip DeFranco, if he has any common sense, at some point will look at me and say, okay, that's cool, but what are you bringing to the table? I'm bringing the big audience. I'm bringing the credibility. This is what Philip DeFranco would be saying. I'm bringing the big audience. I'm bringing the credibility. I'm bringing all that. What are you bringing to the table other than just benefiting from what I'm bringing to the table?
Oh, John, you know what you're bringing.
But
You're bringing the filthy.
I'm bringing the filthy
You're
all
bringing
day.
the filthy. Come on
Philip?
now.
You're such an asshole, Philip. Anyway, no, but honestly, and if I'm Kevin Feige right now, looking at that, look, at the moment, and I think Flashpoint is going to put a lot of things back on track for Warner Brothers and their DC universe. But right now, it's a bit of a shambles, right? Like it's pretty unclear what's DC, what is DCU, what isn't, who is Batman, who is like what is even the nature of all this right now? And right now, I just don't see what Justice League brings to the table yet. Talk to me again in 5 years once they get another Justice League movie and hopefully really establish what they're doing. But right now, what do they bring to the table?
But okay, but they're still the Justice League, still the Justice League. And if Kevin Feige could control the script and say, but you have to let us, it would be his vision of what the Justice League should be. So he'd come in and go, look,
But you
Jason.
should do that before you try to do a crossover. You got to make it healthy first before you try to do a crossover.
Yeah, but he's the one that could make it healthy.
He absolutely could.
You
no
know,
doubt.
and you've got Aquaman. That's $1 billion franchise. So you got
Yep.
Momoa. If Flashpoint works, you've got Flash, Wonder Woman. If they make a Wonder Woman 3, pretty good. Bring back. Why there's no Superman movie? I do not. To me, the greatest failing that Warner Brothers has is they have let Superman fall by the wayside, and I do not. I know J.J. Abrams. If J.J. Abrams was going to do one, why is he announcing Star Trek 4 over at Paramount when he has a $500 million deal at Warner Brothers? Where are those movies? You know, he's going to make a show for HBO Max. Where's the Superman movie, John? I know it's kind of off topic for what we're discussing right now.
What's in development?
But how? It boggles my mind that they're.
Yeah, but is it all that mind-boggling? They made a magnificent Superman movie. Ain't nobody bothered to check it out, and those that did have hated it. So what? Like, so if you're, it's not. Listen, you're talking to the world's biggest
know.
Man of Steel fan right here. But is it that mind-boggling that they've kind of put it on the shelf? I hate it, but it's not mind-boggling.
You know, Superman was acquitted admirably in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, he didn't need to quit. He was already perfect in Man of Steel.
I know.
I mean, yeah, so what I want and what I can understand why somebody else is doing something different is two different things, but well, we'll see where things go. All right, what's next?
Dylan Payton, thank you for always being amazing.
Aw,
so
thank you, man.
excited for the Batman.
So excited for the Batman, Dylan. As Rob pointed out, because I forgot February is a short month, we are 1 week and 1 day away. 1 week and 1 day away from us seeing that. And then, of course, on March 4th, we've got our John Campea Show fan screening of the Batman. Those of you who have been selected to get invitations, you'll be getting your invitations in the email this week. So very excited about that. Dylan, it's coming. Cannot wait. All right, what's next?
Hey, Gregorio, seeing Batman in Screen X. No idea what to expect.
I assume that's the Cinemark. That's the Cinemark thing, right? Because AMC's got Prime, Regal's
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think Screen X is, correct me in the live chat if I'm wrong about that, but I think that's what that is. And hey, whatever the best screen you can watch it in, the best. My number one most anticipated movie of the year, baby, Batman. I'm going to tell you, listen, winning cures everything. Remember just talking about DC, the status of DC a little bit in shambles? Winning cures everything. After the Batman, Twilight Boy's going to set everything right, and then that's going to create momentum going into Flashpoint, and all is going to be golden. It's all going to be golden. All right, what's next?
So pretty low expectations.
Wow.
Casey Mack, I was wondering Rob was looking forward to The Cursed recently in a February movie preview, so I was wanting to know if he saw it yet and what his thoughts.
I have not, but I did talk to somebody that I've been packing up to move, but they liked it, and somebody I trust. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. Okay.
All right. Oh, by the way, I should point out here that a couple people in the live chat are reminded us that no, Screen X is a Regal thing.
Oh.
I haven't been in a Regal theater in a while.
I should know that. That's what's right next to me.
See, I've the last 10 years, I've just been either working with AMC theaters or living right by AMC theaters. So I never go into Regal theaters. So I
saw The Matrix Resurrections in a Regal theater.
Did you?
I did.
All right. Was it a Screen X?
It was not, but it was a very enjoyable experience. I saw it at in Alhambra. Right at Alhambra. Wait, didn't you and I go see? No, that's where we ate. We ate right by that theater. That was the theater that I saw.
I'm sure we did, but I've never been to that theater. No. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher, I found a video essay about why the Fantastic Four are so important to Marvel and comics. It was excellent. It was close to 2 hours long, but worth it. Listen,
here's the thing about these types of video essays. Anybody can make a video essay about anything and make their point. You can make a video essay about why, I don't know, what's been a terrible movie? I don't know, New Mutants was actually the most important comic book movie ever made. If you get somebody who's a good wordsmith and knows how to put their thoughts coherently, you can make something like that. That doesn't take away from their value, though. I'm seeing just a lot of people say, well, I saw a video that claimed that New Mutants is the greatest comic book movie ever. Well, that's one person's point of view and expressing their point of view. But there's still a lot of value to those because it adds to the overall dimension of the conversation. So that's actually pretty cool to hear. I really do like people who can well thought out, put these things down and make something like that. So I think it's great.
I think I actually might have started watching the video in question because I was watching. I don't know if it's, I watched it for like 5 minutes. It was actually very great, and it was a great. I bookmarked it or whatever to go back to it because it did do a great job. It was an overview of the Fantastic Four in the comics.
And Schnepp would have agreed.
Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have.
All right, what's next?
He also would want Paste Pot Pete to show up in Multiverse of Madness.
Payson Smith, heard anything about the live-action Lilo and Stitch? Loved Lilo and Stitch growing up, and the IP remains popular. Thanks, and keep up the good work.
Nothing. I've heard absolutely.
I didn't know that was a thing.
No, I don't know if it is a thing.
Okay.
I think there might have been some whispers about it, but I don't know. Maybe they said they were going to do one, but no, I've heard nothing about it. I'm also very dubious that would work as a live action thing.
Yeah.
It works great as an animation.
It's so cute.
It is.
Is that great. Is that in your voice repertoire? Any?
I can't.
That is very Stitch.
Wow.
Hannah means family, and family means no one gets left behind.
So I can kind of get it.
It is so crazy to watch you do that because it doesn't look like it's actually coming out of your mouth. It looks like I'm watching. It is insane.
And it's cool.
I got peanut butter on the roof of my mouth. Someone much more talented than me is over here.
It's also
just
cool
dubbing.
seeing how your whole body goes into when you're doing these voices. I can see the way your body moves when you're doing that voice is different than the way your body moves when you're doing another voice. I think that's so cool. Anyway, okay, what's next?
Jeremiah Miller. Hello, everyone. I saw Uncharted. Having never played the game, I thought it was really good. My theater was packed. How did it do at the box office?
Well, yeah, I guess the theater was packed because it did pretty good.
Yeah, people saw it.
People go out to see it. Our theater was not packed. We saw it opening the preview night.
But we did go in the afternoon.
Yeah, we went to the early showing when a lot of people would probably still be at work. But apparently there were a number of theaters that were probably packed because it did much, much better than expected. Glad you had a good time, man, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, what's next?
Blake62, you guys seen 1883 yet? Boy, that's a heavy show.
It is a heavy show. I mean, it is a spin-off prequel of Yellowstone. It's a Yellowstone origin story that takes place in, shock and surprise, spoiler, 1883. It is a very different show from Yellowstone.
But it's really good.
But it's really good. Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Sam Elliott. I mean,
Sam Elliott, the ageless Sam Elliott who hasn't aged in 40 years.
He's looked like that since The Mask. He hasn't changed since The Mask. Or at the very least, he hasn't changed since...
and that's not the Jim Carrey mask.
No.
That's the Eric Stoltz mask.
I was going to say Roadhouse. He hasn't changed since Roadhouse. That dude's... the way the show opens with him over the body of his dead... I don't know if it was his daughter or his granddaughter or whatever, but him over the body of his dead child and then burning his house down. I'm like, oh, that show's so good. Okay, anyway, what's next?
Cody Hunt, when I saw the trailer, I assumed the flying ships was a supernatural element. I'm glad that wasn't the case in the movie. I really enjoyed the movie.
Well, but in the trailer, though, Cody, if you pay attention, you do see the helicopters with the straps over them and stuff like that. But I remember when I saw that trailer, so I'm like, if I wasn't already in, I'm in. I loved that. I loved that. And I actually thought the set piece in the movie itself worked very well. I thought it was exciting. Thought it looked great. I thought it played out well. So yeah, glad it wasn't a supernatural thing. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher, I'm going to see Godfather in Dolby Cinema for its 50th anniversary.
Nice.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but this will be my first time all the way through.
Oh my God. So you haven't even seen the whole movie all the way through. This is going to be my first time seeing it on the big screen. I've never seen it in the theater on the big screen. I'm very stoked about it. I hope you have a great time, Sam. You get to watch The Godfather for the first time. That is awesome. All right, what's next?
Chris Barcinas, I hope put in a Mario Kart track. Oh, over at Universal.
Oh,
I really hope they do.
it looks like they are.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying it looks like they are. But I'm telling you what, as somebody who no longer goes to Disneyland, I love Universal Studios Hollywood. It's just a fun place to hang out. The price is extremely reasonable compared
the food's delicious.
The food is great. I'll say we went on the Jurassic World water ride yesterday. So much fun. We did this. The studio tour is great. I do the studio tour every time we go. I love the studio tour. It's just a great thing, and I cannot wait to see this Mario.
When are they going to put actual alcohol in the butterbeer, though, man? Come on.
Hey, you can do that yourself.
There's a bar there.
There's a bar.
Right
Go ask
there
for Nira. She's the best bartender.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
she's wonderful.
And our friends Matt and Jay Lynn, we went there, and we got a table like right close to the bar. And Ann said, "So should we go over and get something and spike the butterbeer?" But so you could if you wanted to. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. Apparently, the band Wigwam was dropped by their manager like 3 days before Peacemaker episode 1. So someone, I don't know who, lost out on a crap ton of money.
Yeah, somebody wrote that in on a mailbag.
Oh, wow.
Once, remind us that the band that does "If You Really Want It, If You Really Want to Taste It," their representation dropped them like days before the show.
By the way, do you know that there's an actual music video for that song from 2010?
It makes sense that there is, but I did not know that.
It's pretty good. I mean,
excellent.
It's like height of 80s. But it's a real music video of the band playing that song, and it was dropped in 2010.
Now, listen, I am always been so focused on the dance that I very rarely ever paid attention to the lyrics. When you read the lyrics, that's a deep song.
I know.
The mirror lies, the whole world's wrong, but you. I mean, it's actually kind of a sarcasm kind of song. And then that ends with that last line, like, "You're a dick because you throw the dog the invisible bone. You're a dick." The song is just not, it's like you hear it's like, "If you really want it, if you really want it," it's about like, "You're awesome." And no. The song is, "You're a dick."
Yeah.
That's the song. And it's got incredible lyrics.
Well, when it's slowed down for the final episode, you're like, oh, shit.
Oh, that's
and if you want to if you really look at it, it's all about Chris.
Peacemaker, not me.
Oh, I'm like, what?
Not you, Chris. No.
I'm like,
I just saw the confusion go
that's a
across.
massive dick thing to say.
No, I think
Chris Carr is a bitch, and I don't care who
Chris
knows.
Smith. Yes.
I mean,
It's about him.
It's very appropriate for the main character. I would never say anything untoward
Mirror
or
lies.
mean about you.
We're gonna go have a wonderful time at Universal getting drinks.
That's right.
All right.
Magical.
Do you
I
guys
always
see a
love to know
super chat
bartenders
by-
wherever I go.
Nope.
Okay.
All right. What's next?
Ray Studios, World Economics Forum has infiltrated governments.
Whatever. Okay. What's next?
Suthius, we're about 4 months away from Thor. Trailer soon.
You know what I thought about that? I don't know how soon we'll get one. Now with Doctor Strange coming out and them wanting to keep most of the focus on Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange is still a little ways away. I mean, a trailer has to come out. I can't believe they're going to wait till it's inside 2 months to release the first trailer. But I don't know if I expect one anytime soon, like in the next 2 weeks, because I think they still want to let most of the attention be on Doctor Strange. So I'm not quite sure when to expect
You
it.
don't think they won't drop one before the Batman? Have it in theaters?
Next week?
Front of the movie?
Not when they're trying to keep their emphasis on Doctor Strange.
It's true.
So I'm going to guess it'll be after Batman. That'll be my guess. I don't know. That's a good question, though. It's going to be some pretty finicky timing. All right, what's next?
Mark Gomans, excited for Sunday. Movie theater marathon planned with Belfast, Death on the Nile, Jackass Forever, and Dog. A lot of popcorn, that is.
Jeez, I cannot remember. I think it might have been a Harry Potter marathon was the last time. It was either a Harry Potter one or one of the Marvel ones that I literally saw 4 movies in theater in the same day. I mean, I love the movie theater, but that best be an AMC Prime theater for my ass.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I did see the extended versions of Lord of the Rings in the Cinerama. Actually, the first 2 extended versions and then Return of the King. But that was the last time and
That's
that was
a long day. man.
I've got my my lanyard or whatever
That's
the-
awesome.
yeah, I still have it. It's hanging around my 1-to-1 scale of Yoda.
Nice.
Love
That's
that.
how Logan and I used to see movies because we only had, and still do, we only have one day off together. So it'd be, okay, let's go watch 3 or 4 movies. We'll go plexing today and have a time.
Go plexing.
All
I
right.
love that.
What's next?
Kevin Joyce, Severance is a must watch. Yes, it is. An artful, well-crafted mix of Office Space, Memento, and THX 1136 with a dash of being John Malkovich surrealism.
I can't remember.
3-8. It's Ben Stiller's new show that just dropped on Apple Plus.
Oh, I'm not
That's
familiar with it.
Really interesting.
I'm really liking Apple Plus, but I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything about. So what's the basic? Does anybody know the basic
Yeah.
idea of the
Yeah.
show?
Oh, if you watch it, you go ahead.
So there is a program in this universe called Severance, in which your work life and your regular life will not coexist together. And it's spatially done. So when you walk into the workplace, you have no idea about your life. You don't know your mother's name, the color of her eyes, anything like that. So you're only focused at work. And when you leave work, you don't remember anything about your work day. So you can't divulge any of the work secrets or anything like
Okay,
that.
I already love this.
It's amazing. It was very cerebral. I love it so much. And then I had to watch like some Love is Blind season 2 to just kind of be like, I need to watch trash.
Why am I watching? How do you? I am sucked in on this show.
I hate everyone.
Yeah.
They're all the worst.
But Christopher Walken is in Severance.
It sounds like a
Yeah.
Christopher Walken show for some
Oh,
reason.
yeah.
All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan. Good morning, team. Keep it up. As for Moon Knight, this looks eerily similar to a Japanese Sentai show called Moon Mask that I grew up watching in Hong Kong. Rob, do you know anything about the Japanese version?
I have never seen this. No, but now I will seek it out.
Yeah, we have to watch everything that has moon in the title.
But you can ask the question. Okay, that's fine. But was this Moon Mask out before the comic of Moon Knight came out? Because if the comic of Moon Knight came out first, then
Yeah, I
it was
mean-
Moon Mask that is a variation of it.
And
right?
Moon Knight was introduced in 75, so you'd have to go back.
Yeah.
pretty
So
far.
I got a feeling probably Moon Knight came first. All right, what's next?
Mr. Mix. Oh, I always say his name wrong. Mr. Mixplitic? Is that right in the
Mixelplic?
comic? Mixelplic, thank you. Chances of Man of Steel for movie club.
Very high someday. Not anytime soon, but very high someday. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. NBC is really pushing this Endgame show. It looks like a terrible copy of The Blacklist with Morena Baccarin as an awful fakes accent in the red role.
Tell you what, when we were at Universal Studios, it's all over the place. Like the 2 most frequently saw ads around Universal Studios yesterday was Marry Me and Endgame. I, however, think Endgame looks really fun. I can't wait to try it out.
I know. I want to see it too.
I mean, you put Morena Baccarin in anything. I mean, I've been down with her ever since Firefly. I mean, like she just played that role so great. obviously, I mean, I even liked her in Gotham, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Gotham. Love her, obviously, in the Deadpool films. So, yeah, you put her in it, I'm in. I think it actually looks pretty good. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Drake Mendez, who just sends in a super chat to support.
Thank you, Drake.
Casey Mack. Want to let you know that I actually watched the first 3 episodes of that TV show from Epix and I really enjoyed it.
It is shockingly good. It is shockingly good. Now, look, full disclosure. I was paid to put out, and I told you guys about this last week. They did a sponsorship. They were going to pay me to put out tweets to encourage people to go and watch it.
And you were even kind of conflicted whether you were even going to do that.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to do it. I told them I needed to see the show first. I got to see the show. So they sent me the first 3 episodes. I was hooked.
Ooh.
Absolutely hooked.
Is the moon in it?
A lot of it takes place at night.
So it is.
I guess kind of. When the moon comes out,
All the good stuff happens.
It is shockingly good. Like, I am all in on this show. Like, the only bad thing about the fact that I got to watch the first number of episodes is now I've got to wait 3 or 4 weeks to see the next episode come out. But yeah, if you guys get a chance to see this movie from me, full disclosure, they paid me to tweet about it, but I simply wouldn't have if I didn't like the show. The show's really good.
I have to say, too, the trailer is great. Like, even
It is
before,
good.
I didn't remember the name of the show, but I had seen the trailer, and when you explained to me what it was, I'm like, oh, yeah. It's one of those irresistible, I call it the impossible premise, like Manifest. I'm sure this is better than Manifest, but you watch the trailer, and if you like science fiction, fantasy, and horror, you're like, I have to watch that.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear that the show is good.
I'm really in on it. You guys should absolutely give it a shot.
I think Paramount needs to send you, the first episodes of Halo.
I mean, I would like that.
Come on, Paramount.
But they're good. Now, look, also, let me be very, very clear here. Epix did not pay me to say good things about it. They simply asked me to tweet about the event, to tweet that it was debuting, to tweet that they were having a live event, and all that kind of stuff. They never even asked me to say nice things about it. They said, hey, if you like it, please do say nice things. They never once asked me to say anything nice about it. They simply said, will you tweet about this? In which I'm like, well, I'm not going to say anything about it if I don't like it. And then they sent it to me. So yeah, listen, whenever I have any financial connection to anything, I will let you know. That's why when I was working for Lionsgate, whenever a Lionsgate property came up, I always let people know, don't forget, Lionsgate sends me a check every month. So keep that in mind. Like, I don't work with Lionsgate anymore, but back when I did, and when something like this happens, I will always be 100% transparent with you guys, let you guys know that money changed hands, and money did change hands on this, but I'm legitimately telling you, this show is pretty damn good.
Bro, what do we got to do to hook you up with hot toys, man? Come on.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Sidious Swift. I found Dog to be a more enjoyable experience than Uncharted. Dog had heart and a little humor. I dozed off a couple times during Uncharted.
Well, I mean, are you
that
sure
written
City is
by
written
Ray?
in Ray Aura?
Yeah, just-
What? Listen, I have not seen Dog yet and wants to see it, so we're going to see it. But I haven't heard a bad thing about it yet. I've heard people genuinely enjoy it. I'm not hearing anybody saying it's the greatest film of the year, but I'm hearing people genuinely say that they enjoy it. So I got to check it out at some point. Thanks for giving us your opinion on that one, City.
I'm just not real clear what that movie's about.
Well, really?
I was making a joke.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I can explain it.
All right, what's next?
Snip Fisher. Have you started Miss Maisel season 4 yet? It's good.
Not yet. Rob was saying he did, and that there's something awesome in the first
I watched
episode.
the first episode, and I have to say, there's a scene on the Wonder Wheel on Coney Island that was inspired. It was a really beautifully done scene.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. All right.
It's a great show.
Mertaranta. Olympic gold in men's hockey, baby. A blizzard isn't stopping 20K people from celebrating right now at the Olympic Stadium in
Helsinki, Finland. Listen, all I know is that the Canadian women won the one gold medal in hockey. I mean, I honestly lost a lot of interest once they said that the NHL players weren't going to be able to participate this year. So I kind of lost, except for in the women's game, because that didn't affect them. But hey, congratulations to Finland. That's great and awesome. Best sport in the world.
I love whenever anyone brings up Helsinki. The thing that I always hear is that newscaster in Die Hard, Helsinki, Sweden, because he's wrong.
Right.
Whenever I hear that, I just
Sweet.
love that. Finland.
All right. What's next?
Rafael Castillo. Monday means new the Gilded Age. I'm obsessed, which is good for you because every comment about it makes you money.
Well, listen, Anne, I believe she started watching it. She was talking to her friend Jay Lynn the other day, and they were discussing it, and she said it's really good. So I'm not gonna lie, like it doesn't look like my kind of show, but what I did watch of Downton Abbey, I really enjoyed. So I'm thinking I might get on Gilded Age because I'm hearing nothing but great things about it. It looks like it's really quality stuff. All right, what's next?
Purple Haze 4564. Hey, John and Rob and crew. So name this quote from a good movie with Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman. Hey, it's me. Second character. Prove it. Hugh Jackman. You're a D. Second character. Okay. That is from X-Men, and that is to Cyclops.
Yep.
Well done.
Thanks.
All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Hirado. Thank you, Chris, for reminding me about the new DuckTales. 100% better than that Rescue Rangers trailer.
There's
It
a new
is.
DuckTales?
So it's not new now, it's ended, but there was a reboot just like 2 years ago, and it's really, really good. It draws a lot from the DuckTales comic books. It ties in all of the Disney TV shows that I grew up with, like
Oh.
Rescue Rangers, and they even have a Gummy Bears reference and all kinds of stuff in there. It's adorable and really, really well done.
Okay, I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do a DuckTales voice?
I can't do, they all
What?
just pitch up. So I can't do Donald Duck. I think I kind of just naturally sound like Padgett Brewster. That's who's in it. But everyone else, though, they just make their voices a little higher. So Ben Schwartz is in it. So they just raise his voice up so it's pitched up. But the
that's
way to
pretty
do
good.
that is just pop it into your cheekbones or into your nose.
All right. We're getting these lessons every day.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
what's
telling
next?
you.
John Redcorn. In my opinion, Liam Neeson has been sleepwalking through films like Bruce Willis for years. Only difference is Neeson's films still go to theaters for some reason.
No, I'm going to disagree with you.
They're fun.
I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly because while I have said every single Liam Neeson film of the past 10 years have all been the same movie, and that is true, I never once get the impression that Liam Neeson isn't trying.
Right.
Like every time I see one of these cookie cutter, same old movies, Liam Neeson's trying to bring it. He knows that he's making his money off these
He's
films.
totally committed.
He's making them the best he can. He's playing that character with greatness. Like literally though, with Bruce Willis in a lot of these movies, you almost see him yawn. While he's really like, I'm watching the damn, what was the one again, that was just redone by Eli Roth, the classic vigilante, Death Wish. In Death Wish, like you literally, you could just look at his face. He was completely uninterested in being in that movie. And you can see it all the time. With Liam Neeson in these films, they may be the same cookie cutter formulaic films, but Liam Neeson is like, damn it, I'm getting paid. I'm going to.
And he knows his lines too. He doesn't need to have them fed to him. He's acting and he's doing good.
Yeah. So I don't think he's been
And
nailing it
I
at
gotta
all.
say, I like the one, I forget the name of it. The ice truck.
I know the one you're talking about.
I
yeah.
like that.
Again, same one.
Yeah. It was good.
But I mean, if you're
enjoyed
into these things, you're into them. All right, what's next?
Soiner. Have you seen the film Brigsby Bear? I feel I'm the only one who talks about
Mark
it.
Hamill.
Mark Hamill, Greg Kinnear, a cool twist early in the movie.
Yeah, that was one that I was late to the party to, but then a bunch of people told me about it. I checked it out. It's a little bit weird.
It's Kyle Mooney, right? From SNL?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But I remember watching, it's like, well, this is pretty interesting and a very different kind of thing. So yeah, but nobody talks about it anymore. Never really gets brought up. All right, what's next?
The Man with the Master Plan. Me again. Can't wait to see the live version of it anyway. The Moon Crescent Darts is a must-have.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Well,
Moon Knight?
Moon Crescents.
Oh, I thought it might have been the Lilo and Stitch about a live action version. Moon Knight, yes. Moon Knight, cannot wait. That new spot they put out with the catching the blade.
Man,
and all
I'm
that
not
kind of
going to
stuff.
ask you to speak like Moon Knight, though.
I can't.
I can't. I'm quite excited about it.
Dude.
I'm more excited for Obi-Wan. I'm more excited for a number of other things. But Moon Knight is like, I'm very much.
I just
kinda
can't
down to
believe
it.
we're getting it. Like I always say, we live in wondrous times now, John. The fact that we're getting a Moon Knight, a TV series,
It's crazy.
Come on,
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
And the hot toy will
dude,
come.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, you know the hot toys will come. All right, what's next?
Wiley Todd. Just rewatched the first National Treasure movie again. I love it so much and reminded me why Uncharted is flat adventure story. Cage is the best.
No, I'm gonna say something unpopular.
Oh,
There it
oh
is.
no.
There's the warning.
Well, I watched the National Treasure movies and I enjoyed them. I did. Like, I'm not gonna crap on them. I enjoyed them. I don't think they're that great. I mean, I like them, but the reverence that a lot of people seem to feel for those films, I don't associate with. It's like, okay, I mean, I like it, but I didn't think of that. I don't know. What do you guys think about National Treasure?
I think they're fun. I mean, is it something that I'm like, wow, this is in my top 10? No, but they're fun movies, and it's worth it for Nick Cage doing all these things. And and they do capture the fun of treasure hunting and everything.
And they're basically pro-America.
Well, yes.
That we have treasure worth stealing, which is nice.
All right, what's next?
Purple Haze 4564, X-Men the first movie. Oh, that's
the answer.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, what's next? Thank you, Purple. By the way, sometimes people throw in these questions, but they don't follow up to let us know what it was, just in case we didn't get it. So thank you for that courtesy, Purple Haze. All right, what's next?
Out of Time 1985. Is anyone into Legos? Currently building the $300 Daily Bugle. It has 25 minifigures and it's 3,772 pieces.
That is
That's amazing.
Dope Lego set.
Is
It's
it?
really good. Yeah, I don't collect Lego, but that set and then the Titanic. The Lego Titanic.
The only one that I feel like is the roller coaster one. Have you seen it?
No.
Where you actually has a motor.
Oh,
and
dude,
and
count
the
me
roller
in.
coaster actually goes around. Like, I need some movement in my Legos.
Yeah.
Like, after I build it, I want to watch it in action. I know they make these cool street cars now. I'm not sure what they're called. And I also want to build one of the NASA sets.
Yep.
They're
You
so
know?
cool.
But
Elizabeth's daughter has the Saturn V and the LEM,
they're so expensive, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of expensive, there is a Lego I want to get.
the Millennium Falcon.
I want to get the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, boy.
The
800
big
bucks.
one, the real one.
It's awesome.
Well, it's not just $800 because it's $800 plus whatever it's going to cost me to hire some high school kid to come over and build it for me. I ain't gonna be
You're not gonna build it?
Why don't we just have a build party?
Ooh, that could be fun.
Streamline.
That would
Yeah.
last years and years.
No, we spend the whole. You got the table for it. We have it all right out there, and we all take turns.
I mean, Anne would love it. Anne would love to
A Lego
help put that
Millennium
thing
Falcon
together.
build party. Come on, that'd be
You know
fun.
the problem-
We could
We could
live stream
too.
the whole
We
thing.
could live stream it
We could live
too.
stream
The
it.
problem with Legos is as soon as you mess up, you have to go back and undo everything you've done.
Yeah, but if you have a build party, people will be so socially pressured not to screw up that they'll make sure that they
God.
don't.
And then I'm going to
that.
do what you are not supposed to do, but I'm going to be the villainous Will Ferrell from the Lego movie. And I am, once that thing's put together,
Super glue it.
I'm breaking out the crackle.
There you go.
The crackle comes for it, and I glue that puppy because I don't, and then I'm putting it up somewhere.
That set looks unbelievable.
Oh,
The
God, it
Millennium
looks so
Falcon.
good. I want that so bad. Okay,
Oh.
what's next?
Casey Mack. It's almost game day. Just about 1 week away from the Batman fan event. Can't wait to see this movie, and hopefully it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, listen, I will, look, again, you have to take your expectations and leave them at the door when you go into these movies. Because there are few movies that I could be set up to really disappoint myself with as much as with the Batman. So listen, I don't need this to be, as people say, well, John, do you think it's going to be better than The Dark Knight? I don't need it to be better than The Dark Knight. Like whenever I see any movie that involves crime, does it need to be as good as The Godfather? No, I just want it to be good. And so you leave your expectations at the door. And if it's just good and delivers an enjoyable time at the movies, that's all I ask. If it gives us more than that, gravy. But yeah, I cannot wait for this movie. My most anticipated movie of the year. All right, what's next?
Josie reviews. It's ridiculous how excited I am for Studio 666 this week. Hope y'all go get into Studio 66 high on the devil's lettuce, because how else do you prepare for a Foo Fighters movie?
I am going to see this movie.
Me too. The trailer looks bonkers.
It looks crazy good.
I want to know how this
excited
even
about
came
it.
together and who made it. And I want the making of documentary. It looks amazing.
And it looks
Dave
really low
Grohl
budget.
looks really good in it too.
And it looks really low budget, which actually in a movie like this is really appealing to me. It just looks like some guys who had an idea for a movie. Let's get together whatever money we can. Let's make this thing. And it looks fun. And yeah, I'm very excited for it. All right, what's next?
Steel Smith. Man, can't believe that the Batman is less than 2 weeks away. Gonna say it now. It's gonna be the best Batman. Even better than the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, I mean, like, be very, very careful with that. I mean, you can hope it could be. Maybe it looks like it could be to you. Just because here's the thing. When you set yourself up like that, even if the movie is awesomely good, but not quite as good as The Dark Knight, which some people believe is the greatest comic book movie ever made, then you walk out going, oh, it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. Even if it was awesome. So just be careful there, Steel Smith, a little bit. Just again, take those expectations, leave them at the door, and let's just go in and enjoy the movie. And then we can talk about where we think it ranks amongst all the other ones.
I'm curious about that aspect of it, though, John. I mean, obviously, it looks like a very different tonally a different kind of a movie. So I'm curious, how does it rank? I'm really not only do I want to really see the movie, but I'm fascinated by where will it fit in with all the other Warner Brothers Batman films, all the way back to Tim Burton's original Batman in '89.
Again, I think it's going to make something really unique. All right, what's next?
Alex Holt. Hey, John and Co. Recently, The Kingsman came on Disney Plus. Was wondering if you've seen it and your thoughts. I liked it, but the pacing was messy.
Yeah, I did. Again, I was late to the party with The King's Man. I love Ralph Fiennes. I think he's the greatest actor in the world who doesn't have an Academy Award right now. I think he's the best actor on the planet who doesn't have an Oscar. He's great. This is not a coherent movie. It feels like 4 different movies slapped together in one. I will say this, though. The dance fight with Rasputin was awesome. Watching Rasputin's fighting style was... If you had said to me, he fights like he's a ballet dancer, that sounds dumb. But then you watch him fighting like that, it's like, that's awesome. This is great. But it was like, thematically, it was all over the place. And the big reveal at the end, I thought was rather lame because it made no sense logically. Yeah. And yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as Kingsman 2. I thought it was, I hated Kingsman 2.
I was really disappointed in it.
Yeah, I love the first Kingsman.
I
love the first Kingsman. So I put this one's kind of in the middle there somewhere. Did you watch?
I watched it when it was still a screener. It was one of my for your consideration DVDs.
Nice.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like a Kingsman franchise film. The dance scene did.
Yeah,
that dance fight
great.
felt like that. But everything else, felt really disjointed. The narrative was just really, really clunky. I didn't understand why I was watching it too. It was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to gain from this film.
Yeah,
You
no.
know?
Speaking of Disney Plus, 2 days, Free Guy, the
Is that what
23rd,
it is?
baby. Finally.
You got to come over. We should watch as a little watch party because I want to watch it again.
It's so cute.
Oh, damn, I love that movie.
I love that
That
movie.
movie's so good. Okay, what's next?
Oh, Atura Ayurit? I'm so sorry, I butchered your name.
Atreyu.
Atreyu, thank you very much, John. Saw Uncharted, felt like a national treasure movie. What do you think of the action scene with the 24 hours earlier thing that some movies and TV do?
Okay, so the movie opens up. If this is what you're talking about, the movie opens with how some movies open. It drops you right in the middle of the action that we see in the trailer. The fight on the plane and falling from the plane. And it opens right up with that. And then it goes, whether it was 3 days earlier or 24 hours or whatever it was. It goes, okay, earlier. And we don't see the conclusion of the action. Narratively, it did nothing for the movie. Because a lot of times when movies do that, it narratively creates a mystery and then you start connecting dots and things like that. The only reason they put that at the beginning of the movie, I'm convinced, was because they wanted to start with an action bang. And even though it didn't really make sense narratively, they just dropped that in there at the beginning. And so, and to a degree it worked, because I do like that scene. I was like, okay, so then it's 24 hours early, but narratively they didn't need to do that. Like, so whatever. They did it simply to say, hey, let's get the audience's attention right away and then move on. And it was effective that way.
I'm curious as to whether the film was written that way. I think that was
I don't think it was.
I don't either. I think that was a choice they made
in the editing
bay because I could see the movie starting with the flashback when they were, the brothers were parted. By the way, Atreyu,
never ending story.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I've seen that movie once, and I was very little. I'm so sorry.
And Falcor,
the Luck Dragon.
Nothing.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, though, some of the games have opened, though, in the action sequence with Nathan, like, being in a train car and being
that would
I
be
gotta
very
get through
consistent
there.
with the game.
Which is why I think they did it. But it did feel like, someone was going to pop out doing a voiceover being like, you're probably wondering how I ended up in this crazy situation.
Well, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
All right, what's next?
Lucky BX. Hey, John, are you sure your source is keeping it 100 with you about Ryan Reynolds? Did they trust you? You did kind of ruin Xmas with No Way Home.
No, first of all, big fuck you to everybody that says that. Like, look, now granted, if I had realized the pictures I had were real, which I did not think they were, I wouldn't have posted them. And I certainly wouldn't have taken them down 5 minutes later. But there was video footage of Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man suit that had already been out for months. There was a picture of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire standing together on the scaffolding that had been out for months. Reports had come out for a year that the two of them were in the movie together. So whatever.
Nah, you still ruin Christmas. Come on.
So like, it's so super. Like it's funny. Like even the Deadpool reports. Like, I report that Deadpool's in thing. Is that everybody clamors on that? But anyway, there's no difference between them. That said, it is difficult for me to explain because I cannot reveal who the source is. The people in this room know who the source is. And actually saw them. It is 1,000% absolute certain. Look, and by the way, it doesn't matter if anybody believes me or not. The internet doesn't send me a check if people believe me that Ryan Reynolds is not in this movie. I don't care if you believe it or not. I don't get anything out of it if you believe it or not.
You realize we're just being set up.
Yeah,
we're just being set up, and it's going to happen. And
by
we're
this,
going to
by this person who's just totally trolling me. No, but so you can believe it or not, makes no difference to me whatsoever. But it is 1,000% that Ryan Reynolds is not in Doctor Strange 2. I cannot reveal who the source is. If you knew who the source was, you would get it. But 1,000% they're not in it. But again, it doesn't matter to me if you believe it or not, because you're going to see the movie and then you're going to see that Ryan Reynolds is in it, and that'll be the end of it. So yeah, there's all that. All right, what's next?
Mickey Bell. Hey guys, movie recommendation. Watched one of my favorites this weekend, Contact, starring Jodie Foster. Love the themes in this film. Turns 25 years old this summer. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a great movie. I love that movie. And it's deep, it's heady, but it's fantastical, and it's all that kind of, there's like real character story in it and all that kind of stuff. Jodie Foster's amazing in it. I love Contact. This seems like a movie that's right up your alley, too.
I love Contact. If I ever got to meet Jodie Foster in real life, I'd probably say to her, I'm a huge fan. In her mind, she'd be thinking, oh, Taxi Driver, whatever. Little Man Tate. I'd say no. Contact.
Yeah, so good. So good. All right, what's next?
Drake Mendez. Hello, John and everyone. Quick question. Is it true that The Blue Beetle is now a theatrical release instead of an HBO Max exclusive?
Okay, great question. I saw some headlines fly across my news feed saying that. I have not looked into it, but I have no reason to doubt it at this point. Again, I'll need to go and look into it myself, but for those of you who missed it, there's a word going around right now that Blue Beetle has moved from being an HBO Max movie to a theatrical movie. If so, awesome.
Yeah, that's rad.
I am super excited about that, if that is the case. But again, I cannot give any validity to it because I haven't even looked into it myself, so I have no idea. But if it's true, it's great.
Count me in.
Yeah, I think this could be awesome. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn. Get better director and writers for Uncharted 2, please.
Yeah, I'm not even sure the director was the problem. It's hard because, like I said, the set pieces, the action, Tom Holland's performance, a lot of the things that the director is directly responsible for, those were the things that kind of worked. The things that really didn't work for me were mostly script issues, but at the end of the day, the director has to be in charge of that and has to own that.
It might have been a thing, though, where he wasn't going to get, here's the script, here's what we're doing, take it or leave it. And for Ruben Fleischer, I thought, he directed Zombieland.
Yeah.
Which I really like, Zombieland 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And I think that, why not take this? This is probably a nice paycheck for him. But I agree with you. I think all my problems with the movie were script-based.
Yeah. So look, there are the bones. As many problems as I had with this movie, the bones are there for a really nice franchise. And if they can correct those glaring weaknesses and build on the strengths they had, we could be in for something really fun. So we'll see. All right, what's next?
Andrew Nathan RPS. Hey crew, I finally saw Moonfall. And what can I say but holy crap. That was hilariously entertaining. My brothers and I couldn't stop laughing. If only they made it a Lego movie like the teaser.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, Moonfall. I mean, it should be a very simple movie.
Yeah, simple.
Not that making movies is easy. No. I'm not saying it's simple to make it good. I'm saying they should have made it simply. The moon's fallen. Maybe hit the moon with a giant rock and push it. I don't. Whatever you wanted to do, I think if they had just employed the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. If they had just gone with a very simple little thing and just focused on mayhem and disaster, I think this could have been really fun.
Sometimes when you're in a bad, you start feeling like it's a bad movie, the best thing to go against it is just laugh. Just laugh and just be like, this wasn't what I thought it was. But there was one movie that just angered me this weekend to no end.
Ooh.
I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix.
Oh,
I don't like getting angry, but this movie gave me an emotion where
is this the new one?
I just wanted to walk out. Oh man, I gotta wait till everyone's. You saw it, right, Rob?
Yes.
It's oh my god. Oh,
That good, huh?
Wait
Wait a minute. Are you guys telling me a Netflix original movie wasn't that good? You can't possibly be serious.
The first movie I ever worked on, John, was Leatherface,
That's
Texas
right.
Chainsaw
Yes, it
Massacre
was.
3. I do not understand. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a franchise is like Fetch. They keep trying to make it happen. It's never going to happen. They keep making these movies. It's not Freddy. It's not Jason. It's not Michael Myers. Leatherface is not fun. It is a sadistic guy with a chainsaw who's eating human beings, wearing their face. You can't do it. And when you try and turn it into something that's franchisable, it's just stupid. And it never works. And it hasn't worked. Is this the ninth?
I don't know. This is the first one I've ever watched. I wanted to get into it, but
The first Texas Chainsaw is one of the greatest horror films ever made. The sense of dread, it is genius. And Texas Chainsaw 2, also done by Tobe Hooper, is a parody. The other ones just don't work at all. They don't work.
All right, what's next?
Leo Yang watched Uncharted. Every time Banderas was on screen, all I could hear was John's voice pleading, "No, Antonio, too sexy."
No, Antonio, too sexy. I'm telling you what, that dude, I don't care how old he gets. That is a sexy bastard, Antonio Banderas.
Well, and his voice.
And that voice of his, my God, he could seduce a habit off a nun. That dude is he oozes
smooth.
sex appeal, that guy.
I watched Desperado, which is like 25 years old now. I watched it a couple months ago. And while it's not a perfect movie, it's pretty damn great. And he is great in it.
Yeah.
He's
He's out. And for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, we've mentioned this before. Antonio Banderas hosted Saturday Night Live 20 years ago. And there was this sketch in it where it's supposed to be some kind of drama. He's like, "That is a very important question. I must unbutton one of my buttons on my shirt." And then he's got this hype man who's going, "No, Antonio, too sexy. As he does it's one of the funniest things they've ever done. All right, what's next?
Matt, question for everybody on the show. What's your favorite Pixar film?
It's a different answer every time.
Yeah.
One day it's Incredibles, one day it's Up, one day it's Ratatouille, one day it's WALL-E, one day it's Toy Story 3, one day it goes.
I really like A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life is so charming.
It's cute.
I adore A Bug's Life. With
It just
Chopper.
appeals to my Amelie-like sensibility.
It does. Do you have a favorite one?
I love Ratatouille, and then my college thesis was written on The Incredibles, about what it says
Was
about our
it?
educational system.
Ooh.
Very
Wow. I'd
Now-
read that. Can you send that to
It
me?
was really good.
good. Ray,
I'll
I
try
know
to
there's a
find
bunch
it.
of Pixar films you
liked
haven't
it.
watched. But
Yeah.
do you have a favorite that you
Wall-E.
have? WALL-E's so good.
I just like robots. I don't know. He was very deserted by himself the whole time, but
And
I love it.
Wally's actually a great science fiction movie,
It's
too.
really
You know
well
what?
done.
I have a friend. Her name's Keegan, who at the time was the entertainment editor for Time magazine, and I remember when it came out, when WALL-E came out, she in Time magazine called one of the great sci-fi movies of all time.
Yep,
and
it really
I remember that kind of took me back for a second, but then I really thought about it. It really is pure, beautiful sci-fi.
Yep.
It's wonderful. All right, what's next?
Av Callie, strong possibility. I think Wanda killed the Illuminati.
No, I think she may have destroyed all the universes that they're all from. That Wanda is the cause for the destruction of all their various realities, and now they're there collected together and telling the truth to Doctor Strange. All right, what's next?
One True Emperor podcast. I'm starting the MCU. Iron Man was fantastic.
Hey, that's great that you
fine.
get to start it off. Not many people are there, and Iron Man 1 is a great way to go into it. Now you can go and watch our movie club episode that we just did on Iron Man 1, and keep going, man. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. The goats have names. Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder.
I did not know that, but I love it.
They're the actual Norse ones, which we were talking about this in the chat, where it's like Trasdiakorn or something. I can't speak Norwegian, but they're from actual Norse mythology.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. All right, what's next? Thanks for throwing that in there, Sam.
Chi-Town Rules 09. Got back from California and enjoyed my time. Only got to tour the Chinese theater, but was able to catch Death on the Nile at the Fox Theater in 70 millimeter.
Oh, that's very cool. But yeah, like even if you come to LA and if you're a movie fan, the Walk of Fame, yeah, whatever, that can be fun, that can be not. But you owe it to yourself to at least tour the most famous movie theater in the world, the Chinese theater. And they have modernized it recently. And it is this great pure IMAX experience now, but still they've maintained all the history of it. If you're a movie fan, you ever visit LA, you've got to go see the Chinese theater.
Although the Fox Theater, if that's the Fox Theater in Westwood,
Right.
is also a great movie theater.
Yeah.
It is. As is the one right across the street.
The Bruin.
And then the Bruin, I've gone to a lot of premieres there. And then also right across the street from the Chinese theater is the El Capitan
El Capitan.
Theater, which is gorgeous and beautiful. Yeah,
Just
a lot
bring
of things.
like a seat cushion.
Yes. And because not comfortable seating in that theater, but it is gorgeous. All right, what's next?
James Argenta. Could we see Dinklage reprise in his role in Thor 4?
Absolutely, we could. I don't know that it's likely, and I haven't heard anything about it, but it is possible for sure. All right, what's next?
A.B. Callie. Interesting if they do the whole Wanda No More Mutants. And we have perhaps been living in a post-world reality where there are no mutants.
I mean, that's the theory, right? That the whole reality that we as an audience has been watching is the reality that was altered by Wanda. Now, there is one big problem with that theory. Explain the events of Captain America, the First Avenger, when there were no mutants mentioned, there are no mutants in the world, but maybe it's just that time
They were still
weren't
hiding.
prominent. Yeah, maybe at that point they hadn't become as populous. The genetic mutation hadn't really started out yet, but it would be very interesting if they go this
Because
way.
they could say that, mutants, the mutation took off as a result of the nuclear age.
Yep, a lot of different things.
Children of the atom.
Or
Yep.
pollution in the atmosphere, whatever, things triggering the X gene, whatever. There's a lot of different explanations they could go with. All right, what's next?
Moncrief the musician. Hey, John and crew. Longtime viewer, first time writing in.
Nice,
Thank you.
man.
Thank you for this large 1999 super chat. Love the show and just want to say thank you for what you guys do.
Oh, thank you, Moncrief. That is so cool. And listen, I say this all the time, but it's absolutely true. It's amazing when people just want to write in and just say something encouraging and supporting. And seriously, that does mean a lot to us to hear that. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for supporting our channel at that same time. And thank you for being part of our community, man. It's deeply appreciated. Okay, what's next?
Al Renshaw. I still want my Deadpool and Wolverine meeting.
I mean, yeah,
Don't
hey,
we all?
someday. Look, regardless of whether he's coming in Doctor Strange 2, which he is not, Deadpool is going to show up in the MCU at some point. And there will be, whether it's in Doctor Strange 2 or not, we will have a new Wolverine. And at some point, they will meet, and we will be in the movie theaters to see that. So that's going to be pretty awesome. All right, what's next?
Ricardo Masca, who just sends in a super chat to
Did we get
support.
Joel?
Oh, thank you. Joel, hey, John and crew. Question for Rob. I recently watched Dota and loved it.
Oh,
Nice.
I saw you were in the credits for animatic editor. Can you explain what that job is? Hope you all have a great day.
yes. So when you're making an animated film, they do rough composites of shots. Like it's just like getting shots in a movie coverage. What happens is when you get these shots, they have to be edited together. And then once you have the edited animatic the way that the producers and showrunners want it, that animatic is then sent back to Korea and they do all the final animation. So what I was doing was editing the show. You could watch it from beginning to end, but some of the time it was very, very crude. The animation isn't necessarily there. There are still pictures where people will one day be moving. There's no background. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but it is very fun to just out of my computer, hit a button and the file would be sent to Korea. And then 6 months later, it gets sent back and you're looking at something that you've edited with beautiful backgrounds and the characters moving. And it's really cool.
That is awesome. All right, what's next?
Ricardo, who sends in just a super chat to support.
Oh, thank you, Ricardo.
Al Renshaw, one of two. I rewatched Raya and the Last Dragon this past weekend with a few friends, and I teared up again watching that movie. The relationship between her and her father still gets me because I lost my father a few months the movie came out. What are some movies that still do it for you?
Oh, listen.
Al, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, and listen, Raya is a movie that came out in a very awkward time. It had some controversy behind it because they changed the story. They dumped the director. They got a new director in, all that kind of stuff. But the final result was a very nice little movie. I thought Raya was a really enjoyable little film. But your experience, Al, is a lot like my wife Anne's experience, because the movie Onward with Tom Holland and Chris Pratt doing the thing, right? It's a very it's a living Dungeons and Dragons movie, but the basic premise of it was that they had lost their father when they were young. And the whole movie is just them wanting to have one last day with their dad. Now, my wife and Ray's dad had passed away a few years earlier. And so I knew, as I was sitting in the theater beside Anne, and the certain things were going on screen, I knew that when I didn't hear anything, but I knew that if I now turn my head and I look at Anne, I knew she was going to be in tears. And sure enough, she was, and it was a beautiful thing. Like it was, but I looked over at Anne and totally in tears. And that is one of the beautiful things about the art, man.
What movie are you? Sorry, I was.
This was Onward. You never saw
Oh
Onward, did
no.
you?
But even on Shang-Chi,
Yeah,
like the Tony,
Leung.
yeah, some parts of that reminded me of my father.
Tony Leung. Your dad kind of looked like
He's
Tony Leung.
he's very doesn't speak much, but when he speaks, you listen. You know, sort of thing. So yeah, that was pretty.
You're now
Pretty
that
tough.
they mentioned it, your dad kind of looked like Tony. Matter of fact, I still remember, dude, at our wedding, your
Oh, yeah,
dad.
yeah,
it was the
yeah,
only
right.
time I had ever seen your dad wearing sunlight, and we did our wedding outdoors in our backyard. And so Anne's dad was like rocking the sunglasses, right?
Yep.
He looked fucking badass. Like that. He looked badass that day. And yeah, I remember actually part of our vows, when Anne and I did our vows, I made half of my vows to her parents.
You did.
And just making promises to them of what the type of husband I was going to try to be for Anne. And it was a great day. I don't know that I spoke a word to your dad that day. And the only thing your mom said to me that day after she gave me a hug was, paraphrasing this part, now that I'm married to Anne, the one thing your mom said to me is, if I can now get a job. And that was.
See, if I was Anne's mom, I would have told her to ask you for the videotapes of your dance crew
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't gonna
as a
happen,
wedding
but
gift.
That was our experience. But
Maybe I
yeah,
can still
Al,
tell Anne's
the
mom that.
experience you had. That's one of the beautiful things about the art, is that because art, particularly the movies, they connect us to the people in our lives, and we often associate that with the people in our lives. And the fact that we can have experiences like that, whether it's in Raya the Last Dragon or Onward or whatever that movie is, that connects us. Like I said, my best friend growing up died, and now whenever I think about Tim Burton's Batman movie, I just think about Brendan. It is beautiful that the art does that for us, and it's one of the great things. Anyway, thanks for sharing, Al, and our deepest condolences to you as well. All right, what's next?
Junis, hi. The No Way Home memory spell is a perfect device to explain why nobody uses the word mutant in MCU. Mutants are hidden from the world like Peter. Maybe after a horrific event that almost started a war.
Here's the problem with that theory, though. That's great for a minute. 1 minute after that spell is cast, and all the mutants start doing mutiny things. And then now they're known in the universe again. And like, so everybody forgets Peter Parker, though. The moment Tom Holland's Peter Parker starts walking around town saying, hi, I'm Peter Parker, now people know who he is again.
Yeah.
So that's the one problem with that theory. But it could be a variation of that. So we will find out here very soon, Junis. Thanks for writing in that theory, dude. All right, what's next?
Andrew Nathan RBS. Hey, crew. So any thoughts on Charlie Hunnam and, oh gosh, I always say his name wrong.
Jaimon
too.
Hansu.
Thank you. Joining Rebel Moon? Am I the only one that loves that King Arthur Guy Ritchie film? LOL.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't give a shit. I like that King Arthur movie.
I did too.
Did you?
I loved it. I love that movie.
I had a lot of fun with that movie. I mean, it was very
catch it.
Guy Ritchie, sometimes to a fault. It was like some parts it was Guy Ritchie when it shouldn't have been so Guy Ritchie. I still had fun with that movie, and I know a lot of people did. Which one is Rebel Moon again?
That's what Zack Snyder's
That
making
is the
now.
Snyder one. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought that was the Zack Snyder.
Oh, dude.
Oh, Moon. Oh, well. Now it's done.
We're like zombies to the moon.
It's all about that. All right, what's next?
Daya Alashore, you say that Spielberg is the GOAT.
Yeah.
But do you have any of his movies in your top 15 of all time?
Let me think. I'd have to go through all. See, here's the thing. What makes him the GOAT is not that, because like my number one film of all time is not a Steven Spielberg film, and or none of the top 5 of my all-time favorite Steven Spielberg's films. The thing is, though, all of his films are so consistently high, right? So consistently high. Yeah, Peter Jackson made the Lord of the Rings films. Nothing else of Peter Jackson's is going to be my top 50, right? Like,
Meet the Feebles.
I mean,
No, I'm
look,
kidding.
no, hey, listen, I like Meet the, but it's not in my top 50 per
Right.
se, right?
I don't think it could be anybody's. Not
Whereas,
really.
like Steven Spielberg's films, like the best film of the year is West Side Story, and to me, the best film of the year is West Side Story. You go through his catalog, and all of his films are of such a high level of excellence that supersedes a one-hit wonder or something like that to me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would say it's kind of irrelevant whether any of Spielberg's are my top 15.
For me, there's an argument that could be made because my top 15 would be shifting around. Jaws and Close Encounters would be in my top 15. But like you said, the consistency level. But for me, Jaws and Close Encounters are such. They're movies I can go back to. They have great meaning for me, and I think they're beautifully made.
Oh, and by the way, yes, he does have one that's in my top 15. Last Crusade. Last Crusade's in my top 15.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Terminal.
What?
One day you will change your mind.
I still don't see it coming. Every time he says it, I still don't see it coming. All right, what's next?
B. Gill Studios. I'm excited to see Jane become Thor, then hopefully, like in the comics, now become Valkyrie, which she currently is. Love her as Valkyrie. Super cool.
Sorry, in the movie she's not Valkyrie.
No.
No, I don't think we're going to see her become either
Well,
Valkyrie
Tessa
or
Thompson's
a
great
Valkyrie.
as Valkyrie. I love her.
Yeah.
As
Come
King
on.
Valkyrie. I love
King
that her name is
Valkyrie.
King Valkyrie.
So apparently there was an interview too where she was like, no, she's king. And if she doesn't find a queen, that's fine. She can rule us both. It's like, ooh, Tessa. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this person saying the queen is gonna be Jane Foster?
I'm down for that. Boom, chicken.
I would love it.
Well, oh God. All right, what's next?
Moncrief the
That's
musician.
real.
Hey, crew. I also have a theory about Moon Knight. Every time he goes to sleep, Moon Knight takes over. So he doesn't sleep, begins to lose his mind as a result, leading to different identities.
Rob?
There could be a part of that. I could see that happening.
Did
something-
you get a sense from that from the trailers?
Maybe a little bit because they do, him being tied in with the phases of the moon kind of came later, but I could still see that that's a part of it. Like he doesn't remember. Maybe, yeah, he doesn't remember being Moon Knight. I could definitely see that as part of where they're going.
It's that Fight Club idea of disassociation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good theory to put in there, Mooncrease. Thanks for sending that in. All right, what's next?
The Jedi Brandon. Did you guys watch Severance on Apple TV?
Just talking about that.
First 2 episodes are fantastic. Crazy sci-fi concept, but so well executed. It's directed by Ben Stiller.
Now, so you did watch it, right?
Yeah.
Like this isn't just concept, and
No.
it really worked for you.
It's really good. It's really, really great.
Is there any notable names in it that we would recognize?
Adam Scott is in there.
Adam Scott's in it?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the lead.
Oh, I love Adam Scott.
He's wonderful. So he's in there. We do have Christopher Walken. We have, oh my gosh, the Jesus from
John Turturro.
John
yes,
Turturro?
John Turturro. Thank you. He's in this as well.
Oh, very nice. All right, what's next?
The Jesus.
Jesus.
We all just knew.
Sean Folk, Taika and Gunn are both releasing a movie tomorrow. Which one are you watching first?
What are we talking about?
Taika Waititi and James Gunn, if they both had a movie coming out tomorrow.
Oh,
yes,
it's a
they both. I'm like,
hypothetical. Okay.
I am not
like, no, they're
aware
not.
of either of them. No, it depends on the movie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you could say Spielberg and somebody. I mean, it depends on the movie. Like, I wasn't terribly excited for West Side Story. So if you told me that Suicide Squad and West Side Story were coming out on the same day, I would be going to see Suicide Squad because it just looked better to me, even though West Side Story ended up being my favorite movie of the year. So it would totally depend on the project. Who do I think is the better director? Oh God, they're such different directors from each other. I don't know. It's hard.
But they can both be wildly entertaining.
Wildly entertaining. They both have this ability to take a comical veneer and put incredible depth underneath it, which makes them very similar in that way, I suppose. All right, what's next?
Vincent Moore, I hope maybe we get to see Nico from Marvel's Runaways in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. She is tied to the Darkhold too.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to extend it to Runaways, but I love the Nico character in Runaways.
That'd be really cool, though, if they did something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a cameo that would be worth doing, throwing it in there.
That would make sense.
I just loved Runaways.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved that show. So if they could bring a little bit of that over, I'd be down for it. All right, what's next?
Drew W. I think the Illuminati will actually be a group of the last mutants in the universe, in the multiverse, hiding from an evil version of Wanda. Have a wonderful day, y'all.
Again, that would go to that kind of idea that we were playing with, that each one of these Illuminati members are people from a destroyed reality. As a matter of fact, the Mordo we see could be a different Mordo, because remember, Mordo has got the shaved head. This
Right.
Mordo's got the long, cool looking dreads. So, I mean, maybe that's a different one too. And I love the idea there, Drew. All right, what's next?
Now I just have a bunch of super chats for support. Thanks, you guys. World Peace, Jerry Woods, Bush and Ryu Cat, and the Jughead one.
Dude, thanks. So, is there one for Mr. Hank Dunn?
Oh, golly. Mr. Hank Dunn. Trailer. Good looking movie. Me. That looks good. Trailer. Only on streaming. Me. Never mind.
Listen, I don't blame you. Like that's because number one, that's the Weird Al Yankovic movie. That's also the new Robert Downey Jr. Shane Black movie. Although I don't know for sure. They're saying it's probably going to go straight to Amazon Prime, but just because it's Amazon Studios has taken their movies and put them in theatrical releases first. So we'll see. But I don't blame you for that, man, because I've kind of felt that same way myself. All right, guys. That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those live comments and questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved in the show, thank you guys very, very much for your support. Don't forget, the next episode of the John Campea Show comes right back again tomorrow. Also, check out for a new episode of Mailbag that'll go up a little bit later tonight. And for everybody here in the studio going around here, of course, for Robert Meyer Burnett, Ray Ora, Chris Carr, and myself, John Campea, thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.